Sir. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. Not important. I'm just a question asker, but the fella that is important right here with us this morning, this is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Can't hear you, brother.
Good morning, Raheem and the
There
Morning
we
Glow family.
Man, look at it. Old thing didn't want to work with you right this morning, huh?
Getting used to this platform.
There you go. There you go. I like it though, Leonard. I like it. You like it a little better?
It's all right.
Okay. Okay.
It's better.
Oh, okay. Good deal. Good. I think it is too. I like it a little better myself. Leonard, what is going on, man? We got an uproar going on. They say in L.A. last night where something happened and the crowd attacked the police officers and they tried to arrest somebody, and there's a lot of things going on in around the community, man. There was a couple of police that was shot here in the Atlanta area. One was rushed to Grady early this morning. There's a lot of things going on, man. There's a lot of things going on, but what's going on in the political arena? What is going on? What do we need to know about, Leonard? Talk to me.
I think more needs to be focused on the fact on what people need to do now, next.
Mm-hmm.
They got to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Even um, the GOP
Mm-hmm.
knows that it's very dangerous slope, this election,
Yeah.
related to what has just happened with the leak of the document
Mm-hmm.
and this sudden Roe versus Wade
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not good that this would happen right
Mm-hmm.
now for them. So you got some people okay, because you got to remember now they've been trying to do this for 50 years
Yeah.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have people really are coming forth, and you can see the fact that there are some people who would take rights away from Americans when
Mm-hmm.
they see the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think the there is a ally within the Supreme Court, an ally with the people, whereas we haven't really been exposed to that for a very long time, being the where the power lies on that Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
There's several things that are out of place. This is probably because you got to remember now the integrity of the executive branch was compromised
Mm-hmm.
when Trump was president. The Congress was having issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the saving grace was the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice who chose not to come out as being so political,
Mm-hmm.
but to at least appear like that was the branch of government that did not cave in to the corruption that took place.
Mm-hmm.
But now we see them acting solely on their own strength with this particular issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was an accident or anything of that nature.
You think it was intentional?
Yes, it was definitely intentional
Mm-hmm.
for the very simple fact that it's really never happened much before.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually not a lot of drama with the Supreme Court other than the confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
However, to go out on a limb and proactively do this type of thing right before a midterm
Mm-hmm.
is not something you do when you're trying to hold on to power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's hope that voters take advantage of this situation and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, these guys just took away reproductive rights from women.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Mm-hmm.
no, hey, maybe this or no. We know what Roe versus Wade meant. We know how important it was. It was a
Mm-hmm.
hallmark of the Supreme Court in that decision.
Yeah.
For that decision for someone to even sit and try to reverse that position, it's some type of coup. Again, just like the attack on January the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So this message was sent to the people to warn the people on what was going on.
Do you think it was a do you think the whole thing behind January 6th was, and we got a caller, we're gonna go to the caller as well. You think everything surrounding January 6th was a message, them trying to send a message?
Yes, they will continue to do that. The people on January 6th was just an extension of how right, far right people are.
Mm-hmm.
They so far right that they freaking crazy.
Wow.
Joe Manchin needs to be booted because he shows that he will stand in the way of democratic progress for his own personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
So you see him really, he's an ally with the Republican Party. And he's one of
Mm-hmm.
them type of people. You can see his greed and what he wants, more power. Power not to just make things happen, but prevent things from happening. He's
Mm-hmm.
fine just being a fly in the milk, actually.
Wow.
So you have to understand with authoritarianism how it works. It works with the eroding of the rights of people.
Mm-hmm.
If you go read the literature and everything, this is how communist countries deal with people. This is how those dictators deal with people. We'll do what we want and you'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do whatever strategy or trick we can to try to give you an illusion that we're doing something else.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So you have to be very perceptive and you really have to understand the reason of the vote and voting your interest. See,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell a person that their interests are wrong or whatever. Either you're on the side I am on or you're on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't sit and go back and forth with like an undecisive child about my duty and responsibilities to vote.
Mm-hmm. So there technically what I'm hearing you say is there is no middle ground. Either you're on this side or you're on that side, but there's no standing in the middle. There's no straddling the fence.
No, as Jesus would say, what are
Mm-hmm.
they saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they for me, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If they're about this gospel, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are not. It ain't two.
Mm-hmm.
You keep hearing the same cliche: two birds of a feathers of a bird, and both the same. And this, no, they're not. There's a clear agenda and objective by most people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Your failure to go in and come up with where you stand is your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on with you,
Morning.
man? Everything good with you?
Um, yeah, I'm hoping so, man. I'm um on my way to have this little procedure this morning. So, I mean, I'm good, baby.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, God got me.
There you go. There you go. Good. What do you think about the climate right now, man? The paper that we talked about a little bit yesterday that was leaked. This whole Roe versus Wade. Why is all this stuff happening? And like Leonard said, man, it's very odd. I find it, or we find it strange, the timing of it all. Do you and then with the January 6th situation, do you think it's all a message? And is there a message in the madness? Or are they trying to
I
tell us
think
something?
Leonard was I think Leonard was absolutely right, man. And I think, I mean, to go a little deeper, um, because I watched Ali and Rachel last night, and I watched them break that thing down, man. Um, I said it yesterday before I got off the radio, but do y'all remember I said yesterday? I said, yo, you know what? I said Ray might be on to something. I said, you know what I mean? Right now, the Republican Party itself so splintered and so divided that they had to put something out. They had to put something out to try and cause a ripple or division in the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party as a whole, when you look at the overall numbers, is more united than it's almost ever been. Leonard is absolutely right about Joe Manchin. It is, in my opinion, that Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are Republicans who have registered as Democrats. You understand? Who have registered as Democrats, and because they're registered as Democrats in their districts, they were able to run and win. Because although they are from what we might call what appears to be a red state, the people in that state, it's actually it's more purple and it's more blue. They are Democrats that follow kind of the old Democratic strategy, but um, Joe Manchin should be booted out the Democratic Party. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When he made those decisions that went against his own constituency, and then here it is, you got the unmitigated gall to be standing and living on your $3-4 million, $1 million. Let me not over exaggerate the numbers. I think it's $1.5 million yacht, and your own constituency getting boats and sail up to the boats and say, "Hey man, what's going on? Why you not letting that was the one that Leonard helped me out when he was holding out on his boat on the
on the Build Back Better bill.
money, huh?
The Build Back Better bill.
The Build Back Better bill. One of the states that was going to gain more progress from the Build Back Better bill was Joe Manchin's state,
West Virginia,
Kristen Sinema's state. They was going to get more, and he would not authorize it, saying, "Well, I don't want the money to go to the crack dealers, to the drug dealers." What concern is it of yours where the money go, brother? That is a straight Republican talking point. Leonard is right. You got to listen to what these people saying. You got to peep their voting tactics, because no matter what party you register with, the way that you vote and the way that you talk determines what you are. So Leonard is right. Joe Manchin needs to be booted out. He should not get. I stopped donating money to the Democratic Party. The reason I did that is because when you donate nationally, you don't have no say so as to who gets what, right? So I don't want people like him and Kristen Sinema to get not a penny of my money, because they are not voting in the interest of the people. This whole thing, man, I think the greatest thing could have happened with this thing, like, here's another thing, Raheem. You know how they've been blowing this leak like it's the first time? It's unprecedented. Oh my God, it's the first time it ever happened in the history of the United States. That's a crock of crap.
Exactly.
Roe versus Wade was leaked. It was also leaked in 1954. So this ain't the first time it happened. And the first time it happened, nobody went to jail. You got, what's the name? You got Ted Cruz standing on TV talking about whoever leaked it need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Well, why y'all ain't saying that about Mr. Trump? Why y'all ain't saying that about these boys that did the January 6th thing?
Leonard?
Y'all better go on to the law to teach it that, man.
Like I say, the data is out there. You can come on like one. When I hear people, like say for instance, misinformation that was spread, the attempt to spread misinformation here on this show yesterday. Lies are lies. It don't care. It don't matter who tell them. Lies are lies, and people need to understand the lie and not fall into this trap of thinking that one, it's a rational discussion. You can't build a decent conversation off of a lie. Because that person is not interested and really communicating and sharing truth with you.
Mm-hmm.
They on the other side. So one, I don't just usually go back and forth about it. If you are resolute in your ignorance, stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
Stay that way. You know, I'm the first person to let you know. I kick dust off my feet real fast. Really fast.
Mm-hmm.
If a person does not want to accept that which is best and better for all people, they're not on my side politically. They're not on my side. I cannot be aligned with those type of people, even in mere conversation. One, if I don't care to hear people say, I'm playing the devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I never advocate for the devil's position.
Exactly.
I never will.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Because it's not my position. You are wicked if you support the wicked
Mm-hmm.
and doing the wicked things. And to try to separate yourself from that, I don't think you're gonna be that successful. Because one, your actions and your behavior is gonna really tell the truth about who you are, regardless of what you want to be called, your nickname, none of that.
Mm-hmm. Who your cousin them is?
Right. And there's a book that came out. I just heard, I'm looking at a book review. Y'all had a president in office that was really serious about shooting protesters.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yet, you don't hear that rhetoric when you talk about January 6th, do you?
Mm-hmm.
And they stormed the White House and attempted to take
Yep.
over the United States of America. But you was
Mm-hmm.
going to shoot Black Lives Matter protesters. Remember all the bills that came forth to try to stop protesting during that time
There was a
in different
time.
states? Do you know what authoritarianism is and how it
Mhm.
happens? And go get an education. And then you'll find out how it happened.
This Joker was so was so strong in his beliefs, and he said that there was a time where we used to take care of situations like this. We should take care of people that do stuff like that. We take them behind the barn, and we do
He's
this and we do that.
right.
There was
He
a
supported
time.
all types of
Yeah.
violence against
Mm-hmm.
African Americans, protests, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody he don't like, he believed that as president, he had the right to shoot and kill.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's his mentality.
Does that sound a little communistic?
Man, come on. It's in black. Man, it's right there. In front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like one, I'm not gonna sit and argue. I'm not gonna sit and argue about Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Let Jesus Christ take care of himself.
Mm.
That's the deal. I'm not sitting here trying to make other people's wrongs right.
Mm-hmm.
If, like you say, people are going to do what they want to do unless decent people get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what John Lewis meant when he said get in good trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There are people. I was listening to Joe Madison the other day, and
That's my dude right there. That's my dude, man.
I really support and respect that elder
Mm-hmm.
because his position has never changed.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been against the power that would seek to take disenfranchised. He old school. This man is up in age.
Mm-hmm.
He's been fighting this fight for a minute. That's how you know it's a fight to be fought.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's about. You know, you sitting around talking, ain't nobody told me nothing. Well, ain't nobody ever gonna tell you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Get up off your blessed assurance and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
You sitting around talking, I don't know about this and I don't know about this. And really? You don't know about nothing?
Mm-hmm.
How long you been here? You don't know nothing? You still
figured-
don't know what to do?
I mean, you ain't figured nothing out, chat.
Man,
Nothing.
come on, man.
Nothing.
Every election, somebody act like it's they brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame when I don't watch through 20 years say the same dumb stuff over and over.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, this whole situation that's going on, man. You got a lot of things
Which one?
that's going on in the political arena right now, man. You got a couple of officers that in LA that they tried to arrest somebody last night, early this morning, and they got trampled by the public. They got a couple of officers here in Atlanta area that's actually in the hospital this morning because of shootings. You got the stuff that's going on with the leak, quote unquote, the leak, and then you also have the situation going on with January the 6th, and people have their own opinion and their own thoughts about what's going on with the January the 6th. What do you say to that? What's on your heart, brother?
So essentially, it sounds like you're asking, what is my opinion of the current state of America?
Basically, yes.
Oh, a bunch of confused human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, I've shared with y'all how I grew up, and the things that they tried to put in my head, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be quite honest, a lot of times the things that are happening are literally their own fault.
But let me ask you this: with the January the 6th situation, a lot of times I've heard people say that shoot the protesters and do this and do that, and they shouldn't do this, and there was a time where we would take it behind the barn and we'd straighten them up and blah blah blah. This would not happen. That same verbiage was not used toward the some people call it insurrection, other people want to call it what they want to call it, but that same verbiage was not used. Where's the difference?
It was planned. Like people can call me a conspiracy theorist, and if they want to refuse to see it for what it is, fine, that's on them. Some of this stuff I've gotten so tired of talking about because the evidence is out there. So it's one of those things.
Wow.
The cops and the other people literally let them through. There's not a lot of forcing to it. So, and the leak thing, like, what's the best way to keep people fighting and distracted? Let's let stuff happen so that way they'll focus on that while we're doing all this other crap behind closed doors.
Diversionary tactics.
They've been doing that for hundreds of years. So, like, Leonard talks about it all the time about voting. I made a comment to Charles yesterday about how people all right, let's say you have two candidates, right? I'm not saying I don't care about a party. I don't care about parties and labels. What I care about are solutions.
Yeah.
I'm done with this separation of labels and ego and crap. Let's look at the solutions. Let's pull up each politician and see what each of them voted for, or what they've recommended as a bill or something like that. Like, what have they supported and what have they not supported? And then go from there. Once we have a complete analysis of every single person in the House and the Senate and each judge that are in the Supreme Court, we as the American people should all look at it equally, have a ballot right there in front of us that literally goes fire or not fire.
Wow.
And restart our government.
Absolutely.
But between the corporations and the greedy SOBs that have been up there for God knows how long, good luck.
Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, bro? I'm here getting dressed, but what's up, man?
Man, you can get off camera. We don't want to see that, brother. We don't want look. No, look. You call back in, brother. We don't want to
call back in, bro.
Look, we'll go ahead and tell you we ain't interested in that, brother.
It's layers. It's layers of getting dressed. Man. I'm putting the socks on last like Fonzie.
Oh, okay, boy. I'll get to say, boy. Look at we'll wait, brother. We'll wait. Call back in. We'll wait, brother.
You old enough to remember Fonzie. You old enough.
There you go. There you go. So all the stuff that's going on, man. Now, let me start here with you. The situation that's going on in LA. They said there was an uproar in LA. They tried to arrest somebody. They might have to do some more research. It came to me this morning. And I said they attacked the police, and a lot of police officers got hurt. And I don't know the situation, the circumstances around the arrest and all this stuff. I don't know. That's why I said I have to do some more research. That's why I'm not talking too much about it. But what do you think about the situation itself, though?
Well, it's all due to it was supposed to come to this. This is what I think the powers to be that Badger was talking about, to make you confused so they can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just pull it at you one time. They build it up, and they've been building up to this, man. It's the disrespect. It even comes all the way back from bringing the fathers, trying to separate fathers from homes, and backing organizations that don't want fathers to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this comes, and it's just coming to a head, man. Defund the police, because everything, when stuff like this happen, people don't understand. You cheering for it, but the next thing that's coming is going to be harder. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that, okay, we're going to have to do, what is that? Martial law.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? When people cheer, yeah, get them, doing it. Because, you got people that are called useful idiots, So when you're attacking the police like that, you don't really believe that they're going to come with retaliation, and they're a part of the useful idiot part too. Because if everybody's doing what the puppet master is making them do, and like my man Badger just said, not being a conspiracy theorist, just look at what's going on, then you fighting the police. You really don't believe that the police are going to fight back in some way? But what made it get to the point of you fighting the police? I hear your question. It's like, why are these people fighting the police?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Were they killing somebody? I mean, I looked at the video and you really can't tell. But it's just like a regular arrest, and then you got and it's not everybody. It's 4 or 5 people or two or three people that get everybody riled up. And then everybody get brave. People want to run in and get a kick in, and just the state, like the state of America, man. You seen up here in Atlanta when they just attacked the referees.
Yeah.
Right at the church. On 124.
Yeah.
It's just the state of the mind. And I doubt if any, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it makes you want to question, where are these boys' fathers at that let them do that they have to go home and think they're not going to get punished, or not scared of being punished. The same thing with these police. You attacking the police and you feel that who lets you think that you're not going to get punished for that? You understand? Who's making you believe that you're not going to get punished? Something is going on that it's a power thing, man. The whole everything is, and for the question of what Badger just said, the state of America, man, it's from the top on down, man. People just start acting up, nutting up, and acting crazy.
Exactly. Let me go. Let me see. We got another caller. I think we got another caller that just called in. Yes, we do. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, welcome to a new day. I can't complain, man. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Welcome to you as well, brother. I know you've been listening, man. What's on your heart about? We got a couple of things on the table right now that we're talking about. What's on your heart? Let's start with the situation in LA.
With that video that I sent you, I felt like that was an action that was going to soon start happening when people were in the presence of police misconduct. Remember when that happened with George Floyd?
Yes.
And I spoke about how people should have did something instead of standing there watching and recording. Well, I feel like a lot of more people felt that way. So now, well, not in every situation, but from now on, you may have those that act out. Like January 6th insurrections. And when I did say that, you remember somebody told me, you're going to die. They're going to kill you. Guess what people said on that video I sent you? I don't care.
Yeah.
They sat back and started throwing stuff. Some of them kept recording, but some of them did exactly what I said. Man, look, go find something and throw it at them. Make them hard for it to maintain their position. If you ain't going to bum rush them, if you're scared you're going to get shot, Throw something from a distance. You know, a lot of people like to throw stuff from a distance when they ain't close to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't got to worry about getting hit back or somebody seeing who threw it. But at least do that to stop the situation. So I feel like that is what people are coming to. They don't want you to understand the power of the people. But I mentioned this so many times. People have been showing their power. The citizens have been showing their power when they have this name for certain things for years.
Rico, let me ask you.
They would go and snatch people up out of prisons and string them up when they felt like the judicial system didn't work fast enough.
Mm-hmm. Rico, let me ask you something. Looking at that video, looking at what they did in LA, is there a part of you, because I know how you feel and I know how you stand, so you don't even have to answer this question if you don't want to. But my thing is, was there a part of you that was proud to see them actually standing up and doing something?
Yes. I mean, I don't know what the situation was. I assume that whatever it was, the majority was mad. They didn't like what was going on. And if you look at the George Floyd video, that was completely wrong. Them men in prison for it. And look, you remember we had that panel, and you had the people from the judicial system that sit back and record it so you can bear witness. Watch him die. What? Watch him die? You mean sit back and watch somebody abuse their authority and watch him die, knowing good and well this ain't what God would want. This is against all laws of nature. No, I'm gonna do something. So that's what the people are doing, even though January 6th insurrection is. It may have been a plan, may not have been a plan. A well-organized plan can work sometimes. That goes to show you how organization works when you want to go against the system. See, we're not organized. So therefore, you have politicians that could go and play both sides of the fence, have a double standard, get away with murder and do the things that they do. I mean, I say it all the time, man. George Bush and Dick Cheney still walking the planet free and wealthy, doing what they want to do. So many other people, I believe if we actually created a deterrent, created some friction against some of this double standard and bending the rules that white men, specifically white men, have done in this country since its inception, was being and make the rules as they go to justify their means and their ends or whatever they wanted to do. They have never been a deterrent. So, I mean, it gets to a point where you have to start looking at the examples of what other people will do when they want to go against the system. I think really and truly, I heard y'all saying that about defunding, and I agree with them, because people really just took certain words and made it sound worse than what it was. I mean, they shouldn't have never said defund. They should have said reconstruct or reform. And that should have just been it. But they didn't go with reconstruct or reform. They just said defund.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that sent people into a frenzy. Y'all gonna take all the money away from them? No, that is not what they're going to do. But that goes with that propaganda too. So it worked, But when it boiled down to it, there has to be a consistent effort, an organized effort to go and counter these type of things that's happening with politicians, going from party to party, or being bought out. It has to be some type of deterrent. Or maybe we need to go ahead and go back to another way of reconstructing the government.
Wow. Let me go to Leonard. What's on your heart, brother?
Always listening for progressive solutions to issues. The notion that something has to be restarted and all of that, we ain't got time for that. All you gotta do, you can do it every 2 to 4 years.
Vote them out.
It's called voting. You can do it every 2 to 4 years. Matter of fact, there are lots of legislatures that provide for removal by petition, all types of things. But the people have not just been putting forth concentrated efforts to get things done. Every strategy should have a desired outcome. Sitting around with your hands up hollering that the sky is falling is not a solution to anything. The action that's necessary is voting. I mean, I don't know why people try to get around that when it's one of the most civil ways to change things in the world. And then you have some people just like being a pain. They just like the chaos end of things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have been living in chaos for lots of years, so that's what they know. So it's not that people.
Are they comfortable there?
It's not that people don't. People say, "Well, people don't care." No, and people ain't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
This is how people are choosing to show their discontent.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't listen this way, that way. But as activists, what have we always tried to get people to understand? We've looked at the numbers. If you show up and vote, you win.
But to do it this way, Leonard, and like I said, I'm not gonna say right, wrong, indifferent, or whatever. Because everybody have a right to do it and act the way that they want to act, be it right or wrong. They have that right to do so. This whole what I'm saying is it's almost like a police to police type situation. Is that the right or the best way to go about it?
The police must be policed.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot. What do you think the fear of the police state is about?
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen a police force really on the side of justice to speak.
Wow.
Police have lots of issues.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them. We know about them. We have activists that fight against. We have activists that fight against it on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
We've had protests around the world about police misconduct and their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't always be the culprit and then expect somebody to show you some sympathy.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
Because there's a stark difference between great police and bad police.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and it ain't even look at all the cover-ups. We don't want you to know what we're doing. We don't want no camera.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't want to have to knock before we kick your door in and kill everybody in the house. We got a right to do so. We got badges. No, we shouldn't be held accountable when we having sex with people in custody. No, we shouldn't be accountable for anything we don't want to be accountable for.
Wow.
And we should have the right to murder citizens if we see fit.
Good deal. Let me go to let me keep this thing going. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, from what I was looking up, it was an abortion rights group, which essentially, from what I was reading and based on the reports, it had to do with let's see. The bigger part of the group, everything was peaceful, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
A smaller part of the group that continued on was where they ended up having to do a tactical, I'm trying to remember how they worded that. It was some kind of like tactical, oh my God, what are the words for that? Not a martial law, but it's just saying that, hey, cops, we need to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a splinter group which clashed with the officers, and one of them ended up hurt, but none of them got put in jail. So I think currently things are in a lot more stress state.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that are tired. A lot of us in America are tired of who are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect the fact that, yeah, let's go vote. But too many people get confused by the words that they speak.
Mm-hmm.
So
is voting a bad thing?
I don't think voting's a bad thing. I think it boils down to, okay, so we have a whole bunch of everything's gone up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in our current society, if you have two politicians that walk up there and one goes, all right, we're going to slightly increase taxes to provide better health care across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Versus someone that comes up there and goes, all right, we're going to slightly increase minimum wage so everyone can get paid more.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you vote for? Who would most of society today in America vote for? The one for the whole, or the one that's saying that we're going to put more money in your pocket? And then when that happens, the prices are going to go up, and then people are going to complain again, because most people in America think that you have to get individual money to do better for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start dissecting a lot of the other countries that are very successful right now, when it comes to their population and their kids getting really good, very good education, it's interesting that their money can 100% be focused on taking care of their family and their homes, and they just pay a little bit more taxes than we do, and every single person has preventative health care.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have to do here to apply for a health grant or something of that nature that puts us in debt? Practically be dying before we're approved for things, unless you straight up have the money to pay for it.
Absolutely. Let me go to, we got a lot of people that's actually coming in, man. People, y'all are really appreciating this conversation this morning. We got Ray. Good morning. Ray, let me ask you this question. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Ray, hey, Ray, I'm getting feedback from you. Like, do you have headphones? You ain't got no headphones.
Nah, I don't hear. You getting feedback from my line?
Yeah. Uh-huh. When I say so, I can hear myself talking back.
Hold on, let me back out and come back in there.
Okay. Let me go to the phone line. We got caller from the 404 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Ibrahim Musa Assad.
Ibrahim, good.
Calling from the.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Where you calling from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, good to have you this morning, sir. Definitely good to have you this morning. We're talking about, well, I know you've been listening in for a minute, and you may have some ideas as to what you want to speak on. So what's on your heart right now, sir?
Yes, it's a confusion that's going place in politics as far as Black people are concerned. In modern day America, we're trying to balance everything that we think and we're talking about against lies and against somebody else's political beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an elder, 71 years old. I was involved in the civil rights movement since I was 9 years old here in Atlanta and around the country. And I'm a amateur black historian.
Mm-hmm.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if we look at certain people in different times and we look at how we're acting now, we're reacting or absolutely doing nothing or relying on people that we look as our enemies or the people that's causing us malcontent as our benefactors. A protest now is based on an emotion, and then you get to a certain point that emotion turns into raising attention among other people. And then at the end, we beg for these things to be resolved, a solution from the very people we're protesting their actions, their previous actions, their ongoing actions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is hypocrisy. You know, we can look at people like Marcus Garvey and what he said about, a race depending on another race, it's not human. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the exact words, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So we're looking at politics as a whole when we completely admit that we're excluded. Now, how can you look at something as one when we were excluded from something, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the best thing, irregardless of party or politician, we need to have to look at ourselves as a black party,
mm-hmm.
not because that we got to seek this artificial unity, because we're also looked at from a mirror. We can look at the mirror and it tells us what we are. Mm-hmm. Everybody tells us we're black, so therefore we're supposed to have the same ideas, ideologies, likes, beliefs, whatever. So therefore we have to we have to really accept that at some point and look at collectively that what's good for one of us is good for the whole.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Regardless of our wealth and everything, when the police come up to you, he doesn't care if you're transgender. He doesn't care if you're a gay or LGBTQ. He doesn't care if you're wealthy or you're intellectual or you're a wealthy or you're poor. He sees you as one thing, right? An enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to something that, matter of fact, it's on MSNBC now. A gentleman that was mentioned, Mike Eric Dyson. He's talking about what Malcolm X said in '63, ballots and bullets. Now, a lot of militants grabbed and said, we don't need ballots, we need bullets. That's absolutely incorrect. He said, our main divisions are religion and people's opinionated themselves, right? And that separates us. You know, he went on to say, we don't care if you're Christian, you're Muslim, we all have the same problem that's originating from the same source. If you understand the problem, that's half of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
So what is important on that? That means is that, yeah, voting is important, but anybody says voting is important, forget what goes before voting. What's the horse before the cart? You have to identify, you have to collectively encourage and support people and bring people into the forefront that are looking out for your interest and your interest only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at their records, right? You can't pass a party because they did this good and they did that good, right? Or right now we're torn apart over the Roe versus Wade. We were torn apart when it came out, Roe versus Wade. A lot of Southern Black people my age and younger are very conservative. A lot of militants are very conservative. They don't, they think that's the destruction of the race. I'm not going to argue with them where it is or where it isn't, because I might have some belief, but I also believe in the rights of people to manifest themselves in their destiny. I was born a Republican. Republicans are a lot different than Republicans now. I despised Democrats at the time because they were a different animal. But getting back to what I was saying is, we have to look at this situation from our needs, irregardless of how you want to look down somebody's problems in the neighborhood or running around crazy. And if people are killing people in the neighborhood, we don't need police. We need community.
Good
that
deal.
Works. Police
Absolutely.
does not work.
Absolutely.
That they say that this is, they say it's us against them. Them who? The people that paying your salary, the people that voted for you, and you go in our community. That the city, I pay taxes to the community. I live in Vine City. I live in the Southwest, and we pay taxes. We were affluent people at one time, right? But the city did not do what they're supposed to do in our community until we got somebody. We started declining. And then Maynard Jackson came in and everything picked up. People started making more money. The airport built up. People invested in more money. And people like Andrew Young came in and destroyed all that, that nobody made money off it. Nobody black made money off the Olympics. I go on and on. But the thing is that we don't understand that we have to put ourselves first. Because how can you keep explaining ourselves? We got to keep voting for voters' rights over and over again. It should not have to happen.
Yeah.
We're in jail at a hellacious rate.
Okay.
We don't even have medical. We don't have
Mr. Ibrahim,
for mental illness.
Mr. Ibrahim, hold on one second, sir. Hold on one second, sir. I'm gonna come back to you, but I got to circle around a little bit and make sure I get everybody involved in the conversation. Don't go nowhere, sir. Hang out with us as long as you can, and I certainly will come back to you. Let me go to Ray. Ray, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Is it sounding a little bit better?
Yeah, that sounded better. Yeah. I still hear a little feedback when I talk. But you go ahead. I just want to talk when you talk. Go ahead.
What's the topic at hand?
Well, what I want to ask you about is I'm gonna mute you until you get to talk, because that feedback is coming. What I want to talk to you about the young generation and what happened in California, and I think it was in LA, where the crowd fought back against the police officer that was trying to arrest the young man. They were trying to arrest some people. And like I said, I don't know all the details about it. I'm going to have to go back and do my research. I just got it this morning, so I'm not really clear. But I know there was an uproar. Is that what the people your age, I'm talking about people in your age, you're a lot, I ain't gonna say a lot, but you're younger than we are. And the generation is different. And so is that what it's leading to with your generation, man? They're going to fight back and they're going to stop this stuff by any means necessary, if you will, like a better term?
I'm sorry for that. I hear it now. That's weird.
Yeah.
Turn
your volume down.
What about now? Is it still echoing bad?
Let me see. It is. But I can hear feedback coming back when I talk.
Yeah, I gotta go to the local settings. But Yeah, I remember when I like one of the first conversations I said the youth are gonna be violent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the times we come to. So I mean, for lack of better words, you have like two sides. You have the side that doesn't care about reasoning, and then you have the side that's, well, you have everybody's disgruntled in my generation and younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One is because we don't feel like we've been dealt a fair hand because we're dealing with the same that you guys dealt with and the generation before you dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
where we should be able to just move. Now we got to fight and move. So, and you see it. The reason why it seems like they're against everyone. Like you can hear in the conversations we have here that my kids don't talk to me, or kids these days don't talk to us, so on and so forth, because they feel jaded.
Mm-hmm.
They feel as if like half of the struggle shouldn't be there. So like if we know who the adversary is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I fighting the same adversary as you? Why haven't you set up for me? So that's the part of that issue. But yeah, it's good. It's you either gonna see fighting or an example would be me and my homies. It's like 5 of us. We're all black, young black men. We're gonna make a compound in Texas in the next 5 to 10 years to live
Mm-hmm.
our own community because we're not getting anything from anyone else. The people that we vote for don't care about us, and for lack of better, words, the older generations are docile to us. Like the fact that y'all still vote and harp on voting when these people never care for us, that's what makes us disgruntled towards you. Like, why are you still talking about this when they never cared?
Wow.
Never. So it's gonna get more and more and more and more violent. And as they become wiser and they learn more and they learn to become militant, it'll get more and more and more destructive. But you gotta think, a whole generation of us just got out the army. Like a lot of black males, and well, more black males than black females just got out the military in the past 10 years. All of those people are going back to their community.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if those soldiers, those people who were soldiers, decide to actually fight back, how bad it would look.
Wow. Wow. So that what mute your line there, brother. But what I'm hearing, man, is if we're not careful, if we're not very careful, there's going to be an uproar, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And the very people like yourself in your generation and younger, that's going to the military, learn these fighting skills, learn all these different things, art of war, if you will. They're going to come back and they're going to be the ones that's going to be spearheading this whole new agenda that's going on. What do you say to that, Ray? We got a couple of callers on the phone line ready to come to you as well. Ray?
Yeah, definitely. That's the basis of it, because from our perspective, it should have already been done.
Mm-hmm. So, am I hearing you say? Am I hearing you say that there's a certain generation that dropped the ball?
Yeah, we feel that. We feel that.
Yeah.
We because like I'm a huge outlier. My dad educated me from left to all the way to right, and my mom also helped. So I'm a huge outlier. That's why all my friends are huge outliers. That's why we are building our own community. We're like, all right, we get VAs, we can flip VAs, flip a house, flip some land, and then we can get over 100, 200 acres and actually build a community and not be charged. We can run it up on the government, but we're all the outliers. Now, on the flip side, you have what we call the have-nots, or the wastemen. They don't know any of this. They have no direction. What they do have is angst and animosity in their hearts. So it's incumbent upon me and people like me to point them in a direction. But as far as that anger and that agitation, like it seemed like they're ready to jump off at any second on anything. That's because that's That's a spirit within them. It's in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for some reason we don't. And I've learned to not place blame too much, but for some reason, it's in the previous generations, it was docile.
Let me ask you this one. Let me ask you this one question, Ray, and then I'm gonna go
on that for a minute.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll come back to you because I want to ask him this question right here. Ray, what would you say to the people that was safety and what y'all are talking about doing, building their own community? I think that's beautiful. That's and go for it. Do it, man. Make it happen. But what would you say to the people that would say, well, y'all talking about going out there, y'all starting 200 acres. I heard you say 200 acres. Y'all gonna get 200 acres. Y'all gonna build your own community. What's gonna stop this government from bombing it and destroying it like they did on Black Wall Street? What's gonna stop that from happening?
Me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, me. So is the training and the way to move is out there. You just gotta you gotta take pride out of it. You gotta take all of that ego and all of that up out of it to be able to move effectively. What's gonna stop it from happening is like essentially the people that organize it and create it. If I create a community that abides by all laws but still promotes their own people in some way, shape, or form, that doesn't have to be on Front Street. I don't have to give them a reason to do so. I don't have to give them the reason to act upon me. And even if they decided to, it's all a plan. Like, I'm not gonna put this in a blue state where liberals can get together and then come on my land and say this makes them feel. I'm going to Texas of all places. So it's like you gotta pick and choose where and when and disconnect yourself from feeling as if you're finished. That's a problem with our community. The job has never been done. It's never been reached. We're nowhere near it. But for some reason, we act and move as if it's finished. We ain't even get started yet.
Wow. Hold right there, Ray. Let me pull some more people into the conversation. Somebody said they wanted to speak on that. Who was that?
Oh, that's Ibrahim Musa Saad.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You know, I've heard what the gentleman's saying about the previous generations and blaming the previous generations and all this kind of thing and not understanding, and they're going to preach something new that they think never been happened. But that's part of the problem. The history is way different than a lot of these young people think, because they don't know history. They speak only on what they are given. Now, to say your people are aggressive, that were passive, I was raised up in the 50s and segregation of 50s and 60s. And the difference between what I've seen now and then is people fought for what they believe. They died for what they believe. And now we have people that want to blame everybody else and not take their own sole responsibility. If you're talking about doing slavery, I had to educate my children when Deuce first came out, when they were teenagers. They're grown now, they're in their 50s, but I had to educate them that that's not the story of their people. I could go on and try to start it to you, but look, when you think that your people are passing and did nothing, and you're left holding the bag, and what you're holding is to start all over again anew, then the enemy or the oppressor has been successful. The European divide and conquer, the Roman sea divide and conquer is live and well and successful. And we're gonna have more fights between ourselves and generations on and on. Instead of looking seeing what a person done, you just hear what you hear. We listen to people and we either get excited for them or against them, but we don't want to do the work ourselves. And I like what that man's doing, because I've been trying to start something called a Nubian Nation, which is a representative of the Black Belt, which has been around for hundreds of years here in America, and even was recognized as a nation within a nation as early as the 1920s. But we have yet to see. A lot of people talked about that, and then it disappeared. The conversation disappeared. And the people that's coming out of the military now are not like a tired generation in the late 60s at the end of the Vietnam War who actually came out to fight. They call themselves Mau Mau. You know, they blowed up things. They tried to turn things. They tried to really establish a nation on their own. We were defeated, but that doesn't mean that we didn't try.
Yeah.
That don't mean that we stop fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, you know, that you're in the middle of a battlefield, you're in the middle of a war, and you can't see the battlefield. You know, because this ain't TV, this ain't movie. You can't see every inch of everything's going on. And I understand this. And I celebrate people's actions because those are the actions our ancestors took. How you think that became a Black Wall Street? How you, not only Black Wall Street, how you think it became Atlanta Mecca that was fought in 1906? How you think that in why the white people destroyed Tulsa? Why you think they destroyed East St. Louis, which was a Black neighborhood? How about Chicago? Right, that was started by a Black man, and they like tried to kill us in a bloody 1919. If you want to talk about battle where they wiping out Black people, Black councils all over the country, in Atlanta, how about Lake Lanier, the Black council? How about Buckhead? They used to be a Black council. I can go on and on. Denver, Colorado, L.A. Black people helped found L.A. and sell in L.A. You know, so I can go on and on about what Black people did. How about the Florida? That was a Black nation up until way after the American Revolution. How about Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina? Let me go on and tell you how your people fought from then to now and the greatness your people achieved. That's hidden, and because now we have an angst and we are angry. This is the generation they said was going to be angry. You're going to fight everybody because you don't even know your own roots. And just like Marcus said, if you don't know your own roots, you're like a tree. You can be blown anywhere. You can fall. You know, but if you understand and continue what your ancestors were doing, independent self-reliance. We talk about people like Booker T. Washington. We call him a traitor, independent self-reliance. We talk about people that we didn't know existed. We call them Uncle Tom. We call people that are working from day to day, that is slaves now, but living from day to day. We talk about business that think that you should worship them, and not the business to take care of the needs of the Black people. We want to sell drinks and bottles and call ourselves a Black man and get stuff from China and call ourselves a Black business. You know, that's not the Black businesses in Atlanta back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We control swaths of the city. We own everything from businesses to everything. We had owned hospitals, movie theaters. And now we look at it and say, oh, they didn't do anything. They didn't do nothing. We had one of the wealthiest Black minority contractors in the whole country right here in Atlanta. He passed away in 2010. You know, I go on and on. We had wealth in Atlanta even before the Civil War. We built our own churches, freed Blacks and slaves, but our own churches before Atlanta was even called Terminus. So, and that's not only just in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., New York, you know, Chicago, Detroit, all over the country, even down all the way down to South America. We had these things, and we had just become defeated on this kind of thing here. A lack of understanding of what happened before us and how to keep pulling that forward, to have the idea and the concept. Who would die now? Who would die now for voting rights? Who would get themselves beat to death and then come up again and demand that we had an opportunity to sit in the Democratic Party, you know? But who? How about girls coming from cotton farms, right?
Yeah.
Cotton pickers, raised cotton pickers. You know what I'm talking about, right? We don't celebrate her. We celebrate people like I don't know, Martin Luther King's wife, right? But we don't celebrate, you know, real people that died, you know, in 1963, 1965, 1955. We celebrate some lady that it was a Black 14-year-old girl named Claudette Colvin that kicked off the 65 boycott.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know. I go on and on, right? That people gave their life.
And she said in a statement, Brother Ibrahim, and she said, Brother Ibrahim, she said in a statement that one of the reasons why she wasn't the front runner in the bus boycott because of the fact that she didn't have that look, and Rosa Parks had a certain look that was more pleasing.
That's right.
Yeah. And see, that's something a lot of people don't know about. Hold on, brother.
So with all this being said, right, you see how you have all this plethora of knowledge and information and understanding, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Now, the reason that they feel disconnected is because that's not being taught. That's not being pushed out. What's being pushed out and what's being taught is you vote this way. This is what you are, who you are, so on and so forth. So at some point in time, regardless of how anyone feels about the situation, and regardless about the things that happened in the past, we're talking about the format of the future. So this is a perfect example of why the disconnection exists. I know my history. Like I said, I'm different. I've been taught, and I read, and I try my hardest to educate. But how many communities?
What it is,
How many communities and how many outreaches in modern day have there been to where we, the educated, have went out of our way to educate them? Not set
what he's saying. Hold on for a second, Ray. What I'm saying is this right here. I think what he's a piece or a part of what he's saying, and like I said, there's a lot of people here, and I want to circle around. I don't want to just stay in one place. I want to talk to everybody. But I think a piece or part of what he's saying is the knowledge is there. The knowledge is there, and the history is there. There's certain individuals that's not going out there and obtaining the history, and they're moving on false narratives. They're moving on false narrative that nothing has happened and nothing has been done. I think that's the point that he's trying to make. The history is there, but don't act on false narrative. Hold on one second, brother. I gotta pull some more people. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Give me 2 minutes to answer what he said, right? Because he asked a relevant question. How come we are not out there doing things, right? If you look at my Facebook post, Ibrahim Musa Sar, the original Black Panther Party, the Nubian Nation, the Nubian News, right? You'll see that people attack me, right? Because they say that I'm crazy and I'm a liar, right? And they attack me, and I've been the same. I've worked in the community. I tried to teach in the community, right? But I try to lead by example. I try to get brothers, I helped a lot of brothers out. I mentored brother Jay over there at NFAC. I mentored brothers down here in Atlanta, Nazim Mazinga, that was a new Black Panther Party. But he had pressure from his own organization. I mentored. I talked to Christopher Muhammad. I worked with him. I've been out on armed protesters, unarmed protesters, right? With NAACP, SCLC. I've been doing something now. But look, let me tell you something what's happening, right? Because people ego driven right now. Now, if you want to change something, then I'll go out with you. I'll go out with you. I've been sick in the last couple of years, and I've been an operative, but I'll go out with you to the community if you want to stop the violence and go door to door. And people think that's beneath them. They think they need a lot of money. A leader will take, if everybody in the neighborhood's got a penny or a chicken bone or a steak bone, you take that, you make soup, you start industry in the community, what people need. People not concerned with what people need. They grand glorious, right? They don't want to fight for what they believe in. They think that's beneath them because nobody else is doing it. If you're not doing it, if you're knowledgeable,
stop what violence?
Knowledge without action is useless. Knowledge and purpose without putting it to deed is useless. You cannot. We listen to people, but we'll not look at a tree and see the fruit it bears, right? And what it accomplishes or what it's doing. You know what I mean? Or evaluating on other people's doings, right? There are so many people that are fractured around the country. I've seen people in small venues, people that were called ignorant, uneducated, that are doing great things today. We don't know about it. We think that we're all lost and we're separate. When you get out there and start doing the work and listen to the people, even how intelligent I think I am, when I listen to the mother, that child been shot in the neighborhood by Ray Ray, and then other people running out talking about somebody killed by police in California, and right here in Atlanta, over hundreds of people done died in the last couple of weeks. Have been shot, right? And they looking at us like you crazy. Well, why you ain't doing nothing about this, that, and the other, right? They talking about home. I live like this. This is my day. I'm not concerned about anybody else because I live like this every day. You ain't doing nothing about it.
Okay, good. Mr. Ibrahim, hold on one second, sir. Mr. Ibrahim, hold on once. I got to pull some more people in, brother. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Stay with us.
I'm listening. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Rico, what's on your heart?
Yeah, man, that's the problem, man. People don't like to listen, and then they take things personal and think that they have to take the blame for the rest of the community. Both of them are right. Ray was right, but then the brother was right because I guess you forgot about the Deacons of Defense. They pretty much were the militant arm of the protectors of the neighborhood against the authorities that came in and mistreated people. So it has happened before. But he was right. We did drop the ball. And I saw it with my own eyes. That's why my grandmother raised me, and that's why my grandfather taught me a lot of the things that I was taught. I'm gonna tell you, we done dropped the ball so much that where if you was to try to get a young person to go out and start a garden, I guarantee you that will be the first and the last time they do it. But then I sit back and laugh and I tell them, look, this was an everyday occurrence. Not only was it an occurrence, it was an event.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down on the porch and shook peas and corn and everything together.
Yeah.
Snap peas.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody participated.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can't even stay in a garden for 4 or 5 hours and they're about to die because we got comfortable. Our men did drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They thought we were integrated into something, and they fell for that illusion because we were already integrated. They integrated us over here into this country when they brought us over here. We just didn't realize it was integration, so they threw a name on it and said we're going to appease them, and then everybody went to party and celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
So then you saw the momentum slow down. Yeah, it was still people fighting. You still had Black Panthers fighting. Then you also had COINTELPRO that was coming in, killing them, bringing women in to get them addicted to dope, putting them in prison, taking them out the household, leaving their son to try to recreate the same thing, and they came up with gangs. They got they got misdirected because they didn't have that figure in place. See, that was factors that played a part in the ball being dropped. Some of it was distraction. Some of it was recreation. Some of it was ambition to have the finer things, the opportunity to live on another side of town or to get a better job or to have that picket fence and that swimming pool in the backyard. You know, now we're integrated. We got the opportunity to live where they live. And people got comfortable and they focused on that. And right now you still see it. You see that this is the reason why we don't have W.E.B. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass's and George Washington Carver's and Harriet Tubman's as our leaders now, or as the people that we look up to in our community. Now we look up to people who can get you the richest, or who are the richest. Want to talk about Jay-Z? Want to talk about an athlete? Talk about Bill Cosby? I can remember going through elementary school during Black History Month and seeing all the pictures change from scholars to athletes and entertainers. Richard Pryor, Black History Month, with that mouth, our standards changed. Once we got integrated, our standards changed, and we started liking the material and superficial life that white people had, because that's what we had been wanting all the time, along with the rights. We didn't just want the right to vote, but we wanted the right to live in that neighborhood because they looked better, and we wanted the right to go into that store because we think they got better things than we got, and we just want to experience what they have because for some reason it seems like what they got is better than us. Must be because they're trying to exclude us from it. So they got that access. So that generation of men, my father's era, some of them that came back from Vietnam, they was fighting the fight, but they were strung out on stuff that those in the 40s and 50s didn't know nothing about. And it was a majority of them. See, it was those that fought, it became the minority. Where at one point in time, that was the movement, civil rights. There was no choice. Everybody pretty much had to be a part of that because it affected them. But the minute we fell under the illusion of integration was the minute that everybody started getting comfortable. And so now you have Ray's generation that's coming in and realizing, look, man, how did they put up with this? How was they comfortable with this? But we'll sit back and glorify it. Oh, the good old days. They looking at it like, man, y'all allowed this situation to get like this. They've been playing this same game. So, you know, you think about there are certain factors that played a part in us being divided and being distracted. And it even happens on this platform because once again, we are being made that there's only one way and one way only to make things work. Then the brother came on and was like, well, you know, voting is a way. And that's been the way we've been participating, but we've been kicking a dead horse. I feel like there's more than one way, but sometimes people like to discredit people. You know, that was brought up yesterday. I brought up Reconstruction. Somebody, we ain't got time for that. Well, they had time in the past. If they had time in the past to do it, and we supposed to continue to do what they did in the past to get forward, why we ain't got time now? Because I said it.
Wow.
Oh, Ice Cube ain't got a right to get up and say nothing. Why Ice Cube ain't got a right to say something or come up with a plan or a program?
Rico, got to keep it moving.
Say what?
No, I said I gotta pull some more people in. But let me pull some more people. Hold on, don't go nowhere. Stay right there. I want to pull.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to let me go to we got a couple of people on the phone line I have not touched yet. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
It's a good conversation if we can meet them in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
What I put down 2 questions and I don't even know if they make sense. What good are the wise if they can't help the ignorant rise above?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about ignorant folks,
Mm-hmm.
the ones we call ignorant, because we so smart.
Yeah.
It's about a me, my, and I. I can do it. I have done it. But then we exclude other folks that if they don't get it at a certain pace, then we leave them behind and say forget about it. That they just won't get it. If they there are some people that we have to that are what we say ignorant, but we gonna have to, if we gonna get there, we're gonna have to take them along with us. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to say carry people on our back. Then another thing is, what happens if we continue to start all over again without reaching our goal?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about the same thing,
singing the same song. Singing the same song.
We've been doing the same thing. We shall overcome, and we ain't got nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We move in the neighborhood, they move out and build a bigger neighborhood with our money.
Wow.
And we pay for it over and over again. And then we look around. You know what I noticed, and I think somebody presented this to me, and I'm gonna shut up. Do you ever see any Vietnamese commercials? They advertise their stores.
No.
Ain't that so?
Mm-hmm.
But they put them in our neighborhood, and we buy them till they build and build and build.
Mm-hmm.
But then a few of us, we get it, and we celebrate, while the ignorant remain. And you know what they do? Because we leave them ignorant. When we build our stuff, they help tear it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Let me do this. I gotta keep it moving, man. I got a few people I have not touched yet, so I'm gonna keep a rotation going. Everybody's so passionate about this, man, and I love the passion that everybody have, and everybody have their own stance and their viewpoints on it, which is a great thing. But I gotta be fair with the time. So let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
What's on your heart about what we're talking about right now, Cassandra? Are we off base?
You know, we may be off base, but I believe that none of us have the same ideas, ideologies about what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. My thing is, I stick in the lane where I'm good at, and I bring awareness to the things that I can do. You know, I can bring awareness to that I'm familiar with. I bring people together to talk about the issues. Like this past weekend, I did Stop the Violence Forum. I had attorneys, law enforcement. I had family members that had lost people to violence. And we sat down, we had the speakers, and then we talked about what are some of the things that we can do to try to make a difference. Leonard was there. He gave great input. But people talked. The only way, we need to talk, and then we need to take action. And the people that were at the forum on Saturday, these are people that are actually doing things. We're doing things. We may not be doing it on a big scale, like whatever. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm not trying to do what anybody else is doing. I'm trying to reach the people that I can reach to make a difference in our communities. And that's what it takes. It takes grassroots actions. I've marched with militants. Anybody know you can see my face on just about any march going on about something that is positive to make a positive change in our communities. I go down to the state capitol. I talk to my legislators. I call them on the phone. Hey, I'm concerned about bill number. Boom, 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 boom. I need you to boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes grassroots, people on the ground. I'm one of those people. I am the person on the ground. My organization, we fight for many different things on the ground. We don't talk about it. We get out there and we do something.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And that's what it's going to take. And nobody is doing all of the right things. Nobody's making, none of us are going to be the actual game changer for everything. But do what you can do where you are.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I was just listening to everybody because when me being as heavy in research as I am, just and wanting a deeper understanding of why we are where we are today. You know, there have been people fighting for rights for a very long time across the board. And today, I can somewhat understand a lot of the people my age or younger who are upset at the previous generations.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to them, they're like, you've been fighting all this time, and yet we're still having to, you know, in 2022, having to get an anti-lynch bill, having to get a more clear rights, voting rights law passed.
Mm-hmm.
And things of that nature. And the part I find curious is it isn't just our United States government that's an issue, it's also our state governments. So a lot of people focus on, you know, the White House. And I was laughing when Ray said he wanted to move to Texas. As someone that lives here, I'm just going to say good luck and leave it at that. And it's just wild to me how much people just want to rely on violence, and to be quite honest, it's exactly what they want.
May I speak on something?
Hold on 1 second. Let him finish that, and I'll come back to you.
So, a lot of the education system and the way they teach things nowadays versus even when I was a kid, you know, we learned about bills, we learned about what to pay attention to, you know, a lot of that stuff was taught to us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's not only undoing an entire mindset that's been around for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, it's also acknowledging that it's going to be a fight. But if you do it with guns and a lot of violence, it's going to make things worse.
Mm.
Learning how to use the system against the system, you know, that's what a lot of, you know, Native American tribes are doing. They have fought and fought and fought with weapons and things like that, and they were just constantly slaughtered. You know, my ancestors. And now they're having to figure out how to work within the system for them to truly get rights. I mean, they weren't even allowed to practice their belief until the 1980s.
Wow.
So there are things that are way better today than they were back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a fight for everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then because if racism ever primarily goes away, you're still going to have to deal with the issue of class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to be something that's going to be implemented to separate us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this right here. Because we have quite a few people here, we're gonna go back to our 3-minute thing. Everybody keep your comments within 3 minutes so we can move on and keep everybody keep everything flowing.
It'll take less than 3 minutes. It'll take not till less than 3 minutes, but it's very important that I mention this because you know, I want to move forward, but I feel like I'm defending the previous generations. which is crazy to me, because I heard this young man just got through speaking. He's talking about violence. He mentioned his own people, like they were fighting against the system, crazily, when they were attacked and slaughtered, whether they fought against it or not. I mean, it's just mind-boggling that that we don't even know our own history, to the point that people fought not because they just wanted to fight, like I think that people are saying now, but because they just want to fight. We fought because we had no other choice. We did it as peacefully as we could, but violence was brought to us, and then a lot of us responded to that violence, defended ourselves, and we are here today because of what our ancestors did. Not what they didn't do, but what they did. And maybe it feels better now that you can look back with some false narrative or some false history and talk about what they didn't do, and you weren't even there. You don't have things in context. You don't know the poverty that was there. We didn't call it poverty. We called it living, right? And most people live in rural areas than the city. And now I hear people saying how bad it is and what they're doing. Us, we're still fighting for our rights. People don't have a clue, or they move into white neighborhoods because they want to be white. People don't have a clue what it was actually like, and they're getting these false narratives, I guess, because they feel good, since they ain't doing nothing now and they're not doing it together. They want to blame everybody else, just like somebody brought up about the Vietnamese, right? Then if Vietnamese did it, how come we ain't doing it? The Nation of Islam did it with the bean pie. The Republican of Africa did it, and a whole lot of other groups did it that improved our communities in the 70s and the 80s. We were not only a part of the American dream, we were the American dream, right? And then the crack come through in the not back in the 70s, the heroin was there, but everybody went on drugs like that. Crack come through, and at the height of the 90s, everybody, and half the people now, crack babies, or wasn't familiar with crack, around crack, and have bizarre attitudes, don't even want to listen or know anything about what they think is true now, and talking about the future. How can you have a future without the past and the present? Your present will be your present attitude now will predict the future. Your actions now. We ignore people like Carter G. Woodson, so you control a man. You don't have to worry about a man's actions as long as you control their mind. And their mind is dedicated. What future you think that we're going to come up with tomorrow or a year from now with the attitudes and knowledge and thinking that we have today?
Okay.
There's nothing off the table for a person's survival.
Exactly.
Survival mode.
Good deal.
You're
Good deal.
not going to go any farther as long as you look back and you want to blame everybody else and not look in the present. What you're doing. I heard that sister talking. I might disagree with some of the things that she's doing things, but I cannot disagree that she's doing something and she's doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Right,
Brother Ibrahim, hold on. Brother Ibrahim, I don't want to cut y'all, brother, but I gotta keep it flowing. Don't go to what. Stay right there. Don't go to what. Stay right there. Let me go to K. K with an E. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
K, hey, doing good. Good. Glad you joined us this morning. What's on your heart, K? Talk to me.
Just listening. What we got talking about?
What?
I didn't hear.
Well, we talking about the generations and how one generation is pretty much the younger generation, that they think that the older generation dropped the ball, think that they're not doing the things that should have been done during that time to make everything move forward. Do you think the older generation, our generation, if you will, dropped the ball, and now Ray generation is having to come back and pick it back up and do the different things that we did not do, or did the struggle continue?
No, I feel like this generation dropped the ball.
Wow.
Not ours. We're cleaning up behind their mess. We're trying to correct their violence and they disruptive life. Their parents might have dropped the ball. I don't know what happened, but I just know that it's a bunch of violence. It's a bunch of unnecessary crime, and it wasn't in our time. So we didn't drop the ball. They dropped the ball. They dropped their ball, and they didn't put no air in it. That's what they didn't do. So now here we are trying to air up their ball for them and show them how to bounce it. And it's just crazy because, like you said, they don't want to listen. They think they know it all and some more stuff. They don't understand it's the same soup warmed over again in a different cup. And they just trying to add their own seasoning to it. And that's why it's a mess.
Wow. Charles? You muted, Charles. Can't hear you, brother. Can't hear you. Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in so we can hear you. Why he's
Raheem, my box still got air in it, and I'm still bouncing it and carrying it and all kind of stuff.
There you go. There you go. Good deal. Cassandra, what's on your heart, sis? Cassandra?
Yeah, I don't want to. You called me?
Yes.
I don't want to sit on here and do the blame game, because that's not going to get us anywhere, and it's not productive. And I mean, we can say this generation did that. What can we all do now to take it forward? That's the only thing that we need to be discussing. I mean, we can. I'm not saying don't talk about whatever we want to talk about, but I'm just saying I'm not going to be blaming the younger generation. I don't want them blaming me. What can we do together to bring the changes that we need to see moving forward? So for you to say, you know, you old heads, y'all messed up, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So what do we do now? Tell me what it is that we need to do, that your plan, tell me your plan, so that we can come together, so that we can see the changes that we need to see in our communities. That's all I care about. I don't want to blame nobody. I'm not going to point at anybody. Let's just tell me the plan. And then if it's something that I feel is feasible, then we can move forward with it.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Charles?
What a lot of people are saying are the same thing. This is something that goes on generation after generation after generation. And you have a few young people who think a certain way, and a few old people think that way. But then you have young people who say, well, this wasn't done, that wasn't done. And it's generational. It constantly goes generation after generation. And it brings up people to get separated. But this is nothing new. It's nothing new. The things that Ray is saying isn't new. Everybody don't think like he think, because I know how he think. If you ain't pushing in a certain way, and you could be doing great, it still ain't good enough until it's done a certain way. And that's what a lot of young people think, and a lot of old people. So as for blaming young, old, and all that, it's just a generational thing. Now, the things that the brother was saying, the 71-year-old guy, apologize for not knowing your name, getting your name right. Ibrahim. Yes. And the things that are true. Now, but the things that y'all been missing that he's been saying are the things that I've been hearing on this station speak against. This man said he'll go door to door with you to stop the violence. Now, he didn't say stop the cops. He said stop the violence. And then, meaning black on black violence. Now, that's not nothing new. Stop the violence isn't nothing new. Black on black violence is nothing new. It was so old back then, even before Sheree time, you had raps about stop the violence in black communities. So when people say it's not that's not an issue, they're not telling the truth. And as for, I think Rico was saying how Black History Month changed to the entertainers and stuff like that. He's not totally correct in that, because Black History Month didn't come about. I'm 53. It was only Black History Week when I was younger in elementary school. Before that, within the 60s, you can hear Malcolm X speak about how blacks hold entertainers up when no other culture does that. He talked about, he named a list of black entertainers that blacks listen to that other cultures don't listen to the entertainers. This is in the 60s. This is the thing he said in the 60s that was going on then. It didn't just start. It's been going on. Black folks been doing this. Black folks been going against each other on certain things like this. And then again, I'm going to take it all the way back to the beginning with the cops and those people in LA, and Badger said it, that was about abortion. Those were some people, and there was only a few of them. Remember I said this in the beginning, talking earlier, There's always a few people that make it look bad for everybody else. It was a few people. The protest was a good protest. Well, as for protesting, a few people turned it violent. That's what happened in that instant. And the same thing, Badger, he went and looked it up, and he's correct. That's what happened. A few people turned the thing violent, which turned it against and fighting against the police. And once you have a few knuckleheads, you get more knuckleheads. And you know, knuckleheads begat knuckleheads. And that's just how it is.
Okay, let's stay within that 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
Gotta keep this thing. Okay, let me go to right now. Hold on. I think we got Goddess. Goddess, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Goddess, generations. Talking about generations. Did our generation drop the ball? Did the young generation drop the ball? Had the ball been dropped at all? And if it is, how can we pick it up and move forward?
I'm definitely on Cassandra's point of view, that the ball's been dropped and we got to pick it up. Blaming who dropped it is kind of senseless, but acknowledging some things that we need to address, but is key. So I don't know if that's blaming or just acknowledging some things that we need to address. It's key. A lot of people feel like things have changed since 2022, and actually we're basically going backwards in some things. I was just watching something in Georgia where there's a restaurant that has all the racial things that's going on, and people still go to this restaurant. That as long as you're in the main parts of Georgia and the city areas, but if you go in the smaller towns and all like that, it's totally different. Again, I spoke about the reenactment of slavery. That's real. But we are steadying our lives, continuing and consistently major consumers. We're not buying black. We're not becoming entrepreneurs where we're self-sufficient. We're not doing black education where we're educating not just from what their books are telling us, but going out studying what is real. We're not building up our own neighborhoods. We're moving out of our neighborhoods, and we're moving toward more of the white neighborhoods, thinking that we're more influenced, where they're trying to come in and gentrify our neighborhoods.
Wow.
Our athletes are putting white women on their arms, not knowing that their great grandfathers was killed for that.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that we need to reprogram our minds in order for us to become a beneficial group of people that here we had Colin Kaepernick, and that's just the biggest thing, that he started a big, huge movement. But how many black men couldn't wait to go watch football during that movement? Or women, because it wasn't just black men. It's, oh shoot, I'm still gonna watch me some football.
Wow. Okay.
That's crazy. So we got a lot of work to do. We going backwards, not forwards. And then our pastors, and I'm gonna put it back to the church too. Our pastors have a voice, but during that 501c3 that you took, you really can't speak to the crowd like Martin did.
Amen.
You can't speak to the crowd because now you got that 501c3.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of layers in this thing. Sister, go ahead. I think I cut you off when I said that. I think you had something else on your heart.
I just think that we have an awakening just throughout our whole culture. We need to get back to our culture.
Right.
we have been blinded through our culture. I don't know what the 4 chapters of the Bible are, but I'm getting ready to get into those and read those because we even have healing. You know, they made it seem like even doing herbs is bad, and actually, that's what we need to get back to.
Good deal. Good deal. We're gonna keep this thing going. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Mary.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mary. How you doing?
Okay.
Good. You sure? Okay. We're talking about.
Meow.
Hold on. We're talking about the ball and drop the ball. Now, in your estimation, because you in the same generation as Ray, did the older generation drop the ball? Did the young generation drop the ball? Have the ball been dropped in regards to moving forward in and around our communities? What do you see? Have the ball been dropped? And if so, how can we pick it back up and continue to run with it?
I think it's a collective thing, personally.
Okay, your phone is very low, Mary.
I said I think it's a collective thing, personally.
So everybody got a responsibility in it.
That's what I think.
Explain that to me.
I just don't think you could blame a certain person for any one thing. On like a large scale. I think anybody's capable of making some kind of change.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Somebody wanted to say something just now. Who's that?
Yeah, this is Ibrahim Musa Saad again. I know I can't be so full of things, right? But
I couldn't hear her.
I think that what helps, what brings unity, and Kwame Nkrumah said this in his acknowledgement. He said the unity can come about action. He's talking about against the AOU. He said AOU just bring this kumbaya unity doesn't work, but action and people's needs and people working together. You have to depend on somebody else. Our people depend upon the people that are causing these problems for everything, for their welfare, for their jobs, for anything, their food they get or where they go, their entertainment. They have to look at the people that's providing those things for them. Even, I made an analogy a long time ago with some brothers. I said, even if the Ku Klux Klan was sitting over there with a noose and their white sheets ready to hang one of you, and then the people over here on the other side are saying, Black Power, we got to stick together and fight against that. And they don't have no all they got is words, no food, no action, no anything. And over here, they got a temporary housing for you. They got food, they got comfort, they got color TV, and then after that, they go hang. Where do you think people are going to go? Religion. If the Christians are feeding you, and agnostics or anybody else are sitting there waving their hands in the air, and you're going to go where the food's at. I don't care what religion you are or about. It's about the people's needs, and I think we forget that anything that we know, we have to integrate it to people to move forward to the future.
Yeah.
If all of us, if a great part of us is not moving in the same direction or have the same needs or understand what their needs are and what is oppressing us, then we go nowhere. We go over and over again about generational issues and stuff like that, psychological issues that are built off of trauma, and not psychological issues built off about moving forward and creating a nation. Some of us don't want to create a nation. We want to be a part of the nation already is. Some of us accuse ourselves for raising up in the very environment that other people are affording, right? Like moving up, right? New housing. And I could tell you a simple story about Atlanta, but it'll take more than a minute, right? Why we moved into integrated neighborhoods, right? But basically, you got to get out there and do something. You got to try it.
Yeah.
If you have a belief that this is the right thing, try it. If you don't try nothing, you won't never fail. You won't never learn anything.
Exactly.
You just sit back here. That's why I say I go door to door. If you want to go do something, yeah, I deal with politicians, but I found they're useless. I deal with intellectuals. I argue with intellectuals. I argue with PhD because they're useless, because whatever knowledge they have is accredited and it's not for the benefit of their people unless they apply those useful things to the benefit of their people, right? That's what we're saying in Black Panther Party in the 60s, and that's what we're saying in the Communist Party. That's what we're saying in SCLC, NAACP, SNCC, was that main basic core of belief that we can do better and we can be strong together. And we work for Poor People's Campaign. I heard one brother mention the guys out of Louisiana, right? The Diggers for Defense, and all that kind of thing. But all this means is that if you want to change, you got to dedicate yourself. You cannot sit back up here, money quarterbacking and intellectualizing, right? Even W. Boyce found that out and put his action to words. He got kicked out of Morehouse, right, in the 40s, right, because he believed that integration was not the solution to a problem, And I'm going on, but we have to get out there and fight. You have to get out there if you believe in it. You want to stop the violence, get respect.
Yeah.
Respect is if you can control your own neighborhood violence. If you want better economics, why are you going to ask the people that want to oppress you and suppress you? Then you have to have real economics come up in your community. Entrepreneurism is not just you can run around and invest in bitcoins and all that. That's not entrepreneurism. The economy is a social issue. It's between people. It's borrowing, exchange of needs and needs and wants, right? That is economy. So I think we get grandiose about ideas. We need millions of dollars. Power is individual now. If you got a community of people, you can change the votes in that community. You got a community of people that see you doing something for them, you want to care about them, you want to do something for them. Yeah, they'll go out there and fight against the police successfully. Yeah, they'll stop the violence in their community. And then the police have to respect you because they know if you touch one of them, that means you got to fight the whole community, right? And if you give them something or help them, then you're helping the whole community. See, that is basic ideas. You can find it in the Quran, you can find the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, Talmud. That is what we are.
Good
right?
deal.
And
Good
if you
deal.
want to try to invent anything else, well then to your dismay and to your discouragement. And another thing, take the responsibility of immediate action on yourself.
Let's stay right there.
Do it.
Yeah, stay right there, brother. Stay right there, brother. I gotta, man. You got so much in you, brother. You got so much in you. Let me go to let me see. We got another caller that just called in. Who was that just called in? Willa.
Good morning, Raheem.
Good morning, Willa. We're talking about generations and the generation that's going on. Some will say that our generation dropped the ball. Some will say the young generation dropped the ball. Some will say that the young generation don't listen. They think they know it all. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to just run into that brick wall 10 times trying to knock it down. Well, we can tell them you want to go around the wall, brother. You ain't got to go through it, go around the wall. But have the ball been dropped? And if that is the case, if the ball have been dropped, how do we pick it back up?
Yes, sir. Everything you said is true. We have dropped the ball on all of those things. But I like the part that you're asking the questions on how do we pick it up? Well, as individuals, we know the problem. So you have to be involved with what you believe that you can make a difference in. Because there's so many issues. You can't change in your whole lifetime. We wouldn't be able to change it all. But the way I look at it is I can start in my own household. I got a big family, a big family of young men, young women. And one of the main issues that I try to deal with them is, first of all, about them going out there being disrespectful with their pants hanging down when it comes to the guys in my family, the young men. I think that's one of the most disrespectful things that we're seeing nowadays. You going out there with your pants hanging down. My young ladies, my nieces and my nephews, my nieces, you being more visual with what you're wearing, not allowing men to guess what you look like before you go out there in the world. So those are some issues that I deal with from a personal standpoint within my own family. Because each and every last one of us have a family.
Yes.
And if we could just start with that, then it could domino on down. Because a lot of people in our past, my grandmother, my father, they fought for a lot of things that now the young people don't even care about. Like Leonard said all the time, vote. But we should have to say that. That should already be instituted. And they should understand how important voting is. So yeah, Raheem, so many things need to change, and we need to start in our own household.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toya with a T, you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning. I didn't hear you call me. It sounded like you said somebody else's name. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Sister, let's talk about this ball, man. Have the ball been dropped? Did our generation drop it? The younger generation, they dropped it? Who dropped it? And if it has been dropped, Toya, how can we pick that ball up and continue to run and move our community forward?
Oh man, the ball been dropped and dropped and dropped again. We playing basketball with the game. We dribbling. Dropping. And we can't blame it on just one generation. Each generation that's still living on this earth, walking around, has had something to do with it. Just can't blame it on Black people. All races that have had their hand dibbling and dabbling in wickedness have something to do with this ball dropping. But the only way we can pick it back up, at least for me, right? It's like Willa just said, it's your influence and your what you do where you are, right? And I'm like her, I'm going back to my nephews and nieces, correcting some of this foolishness we got in our family that we picked up as culture that's not right, right? And some of it does come with religion, because I did have an issue with religion. I wasn't as guided when it comes to Jesus and all of that, but I had an encounter with him. So now I'm going back to my nieces and nephews like, yo, wait a minute, hold up. It's real. It's true. And let me explain to you the new standard that will be upheld at all times if I have anything to do with it. And I'm getting on the line, yo, young man, what's up? Oh, you like getting girls? Well, you know, you got to fight me next. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm still a little hood, but I'm still going to bring back what is righteous and true.
Yeah.
And we got to get back on this. And it's for me. It ain't got to be for everybody else. I don't care about nobody else. I took one for me and mine. We're going to serve this Christian Lord God that got the Jesus, the one that we be trying. That's who we going to serve. So it's always a constant training and calling and staying in tune and in check with the people who are a part of my lineage. But then you got this flip side. When I walk on a daily basis, even in my flaws, y'all, and I'm being honest with you, and even in my daily sins, that's very hard to stop. I preach and talk about God and who he is on a daily basis. I don't care what, you could be hitting a pipe. I'm going to let you know, you better call on the Lord, because he's the only one that can help you. He's the only one that can keep your heart from busting. So when it comes to this ball we dropping, we have to be real about who we are, and let's not, judge. You know what I'm saying? Don't knock, don't judge, just love. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, niece. I was out there my day, you know what I'm saying? I know you saw me date guys and not getting married, but let me tell you about my value now. Let me tell you what a man can never get now, because I was the seed.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I recognize my value, and it wasn't the right thing to do. But still, if they come to me with the baby, it's all good. I'm going to still love you, and I'm going to love my niece. But come on, we got to stop doing that. You got to stop putting yourself in a situation. Now you're on baby number 4 with no husband. Come on with the jokes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't abandon them, but now I'm going to keep it all the way 1,100% real, because you beat me with kids, and I'm older than you. I make more money than you. Now, what's backwards with this scenario? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when it comes to this ball drop, as soon as you learn the error of your ways, you better be on the horn, letting your lineage know that this is not the move, and trying to clean it up, because that's the only way we're going to get out of it. We cannot let them continue to just keep dropping the ball, not knowing how to get out of it, or even how to curb the curse.
Exactly. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
What we got going? We got to the topic of today?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, keep going.
You don't want to talk about dropping the ball, brother?
Well, that's the question. We talk dropping the ball.
Yes, sir. Who dropped the ball?
What game was you playing?
Life.
And when people say somebody dropped the ball or whatever, people have problems in their lives. So I don't know. I've never been one to believe that everyone had to be doing the same thing. But when you say drop the ball, what do you mean? Dropping the ball has a lot to do with, one, you don't want religion, you don't want discipline. You really just want to do what you want to do. So what ball are we talking about?
That's good. But and see, some say that our generation and Leonard, when the same era right here. Some would say that we dropped the ball, that we didn't do what we were supposed to do to move forward. And what Ray was saying, what now his generation have to come in and pretty much fill the voice of what we did not do. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel no way about it, because it's your responsibility as a human being to be the best human being that you can be. Now, if you're talking about personal issues on why your parents weren't worth the damn, that's your personal issue. But everybody wasn't like that. There are some people that still uphold the same moral values that they always have, because those moral values were theirs. That's how they live. So whatever you doing is what you doing. Don't act like everybody else doing that.
Now I'm gonna say this to you, Leonard, because I think you know that you got a GPS. Your GPS is set to the corner. Go on over there, brother.
You know that's where I live at anyway. I build my house in the corner. And hold that corner down. You understand?
But look at here. Well, right now, make that journey. Make that journey.
As it relates to the question that you asked me, you want to talk about, so what's your responsibility? Because you don't know nothing about me. I made you. So don't come at me as if you somehow superior or this, that, and the other. We have an elder on the line now. He was there.
Yeah.
He was there. Now, how you gonna refute what he has to say? He can tell you what he saw. You can come to whatever opinion you want of what he saw and lived through. But you can't take away his experience.
Yeah.
So you have to establish yourself this way. I understand all this stuff before 18 because you couldn't be on your own and you couldn't do this. But once you become a man, you should put away childish things and start becoming a man regardless of what has happened. It's still a calling upon you to be a man. That's why God don't hold you accountable for what someone else does. Because even all the stuff that may have happened, by the time you come into age of majority, which what they call it on paper, you're responsible.
Good deal. Leonard, we got to stay in 3 minutes, brother. Got to keep it moving. Let me go to Charles. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
What everybody's saying, man, is like I said, man, we're pretty much talking the same thing. And we just putting it in different words. As for the young are gonna always be that way.
What's the ball drop, Charles?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you in certain places, yes, it was. When things should have been done different and better, yes. But a lot of that comes from home training. I think, was it Willa who was saying that, you gotta get your home right. You got guys on here and people on here will speak about a lot of things, but they won't even speak to their family probably. And I for my younger generation I talk to, I speak about and I let them know how I feel. If I feel that they're right, I'll say they're right. If they're dead wrong, I'm gonna say it. I don't care if the whole world is in agreement upon certain things. As if somebody spoke about Kaepernick earlier, and that was a big thing in our family. Everybody just talked about stuff like that, and they didn't understand why I didn't agree with them. So I explained to them why I didn't agree with them. They disagreed. Months later, they learned, and they called back and they agreed. You know what? I agree with what you're saying. That is true what you're saying. But I didn't bow down to them because they were younger than me. I explained to them how it is, and I stood my ground in what I believe in and my beliefs. And more than one of them has done this and called me back and said, you know what, you did. I was just wrong about that because I was going by what society wanted me to believe. But if you see me as an example of how I live and what I do, you believe me before you believe society. You get what I'm saying? If I'm next to you and you've seen me move a certain way and come out the mud and do all these things, then you don't believe that dude on TV or CNN. You believe me first because you've seen me do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we dropped the ball in that way of bowing down and cowering out to bigger voices. But all I need is one. You know, I truly believe in the each one teach one. I teach my one, and my one go teach another one.
Mm-hmm.
And that made my voice two already.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So each one teach one. You know, and that's all it takes. It doesn't take a lot.
Exactly.
It doesn't take a lot.
Exactly. Ray, communication. Is a part of this thing based on communication or lack of communication between the generations?
Sorry, I had a bunch of noises going off in the car. Repeat that.
Is a part of our problem with the talking about the ball dropping and stuff like that, with the ball being dropped, is a piece or a part of that lack of communication between the generations? We're just not talking to each other.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's not as simple as that, of course. I think a big part of it is also like how are you communicating? Are you communicating the way that you want to put something across, or are you communicating the best way for it to be heard? So that's a big thing.
That's good.
Like, you can't, like I was saying, no knock against anyone in here, but if I was an ignorant one and you needed to teach me, I would ignore every single person in this room, except for like maybe two or three, maybe two, maybe one or two. But the majority of y'all get ignored because of how you're communicating across. If like, let's say I didn't know any of my history, in this instance, history was taught technically, I would have ignored it, because that's what it's not the lack of communication. I think we're communicating, or trying to at least.
Is it effective?
It's not. It's ineffective because we're speaking the way we think it should be spoke, not the way it should be received. And that's just pride and ego. That's all that is. Wow. You're gonna say it the way you want to say it because this is how you think it should get across. That's
my way to highway mentality.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Like, I don't go into an office and then say something about what I'm trying to articulate to a commander in my vernacular, how I speak. I change it so he can understand it. Like, I don't speak to a military reference would be an infantryman, a bang bang boom boom guy. All he do is shoot and throw grenades. I don't use big words. I don't come in there with a pompous overreaching mentality. Oh yeah, I'm intel. I'm smarter than everybody in here. That's disconnection. But once again, I get it. I understand why people do it. People speak with their feelings, just like in here. A lot of people were speaking with their feelings. It don't no knock to nobody. But your feelings don't matter because the proof is now. The proof is here. We already got that. So what we talk about? The proof is already here. Take your feelings out of it. Learn to speak and reach out in a different way. I don't talk to a 21-year-old the same way I talk to a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let me go to Miri.
Raheem, how old is the person that was just talking?
Hey, Ray, how old are you?
29.
29. Toya?
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Okay, cool. Let me go to Miri. What do you say to that, Miri? Do you think there's a breakdown in communication between the generations, and a lot of the ball being dropped is because of the fact that they're not communicating or effectively communicating with each other? Miri? I think Miri has stepped away from the building. Friday, good morning. How you doing this morning?
How you doing?
She talks so loud.
Doing good. Friday, what? Man, look at him, man. Hold on now. But look at, let me ask you this question. We talking about the ball being dropped. The older generation saying the young folks dropped the ball, the young generation saying the old folks dropped the ball and didn't do the necessary thing that they needed to do to move us forward. So have the ball been dropped? And if it has been dropped, what can we do? What do we need to do to pick that ball back up? Will I come to you next? Will?
I would say, you know, a missed alley-oop has the opportunity to circle back around. And, you know, whether the next round is a layup or a slam dunk is determining on who catches the ball. So as far as it being dropped, I really think that that's not where it stop, right? Because once a bucket is made, it has to go back down the court again. So in terms of just focusing on the ball being dropped, I would say or choose to say that to get down the court, it has to get dropped a lot because that's the whole point of a dribble. But what you're going to do with it. And so I think that the older generation, you know, moved the ball down the court. An alley-oop went up after civil rights movement. And then unfortunately it got blocked, right? So, and it was a mean, ugly, one of them nasty blocks where it like gets stuck to the backboard type of thing, right? And that puts fear in a lot of people. So because now I don't see people with the same mentality in terms of being not necessarily okay, but being willing to die so that the next generation can have the opportunity to go forward. And we should be at a point where death is not at a mass number, but because of the strategic operations of people that have been in power and charge, they've taken the technique of, you know, killing your leaders and killing your motivation at the same time and killing your hope, just as they did when they would hang, you know, heads of households and slaves to prove a point. You know, you don't want that to happen to you, your children, your husband, or yourself. You best not do what they did or even think about it. If we feel like you're thinking about it, we's gonna hang you. So that carried over into assassinations of character and physical actual life. So now there's this deficit that's there because even with all the movement that happened during civil rights and across the country, not just in hot points and focal points, you know, there were still a lot of people who who benefit from it, but were not really for the program because of that fear. And so I think now with as much education that we have attained, for as much power that we actually really do have, we have to be more strategic in how we move forward and reestablishing. We should know their antics and techniques now and not fall for the bait as we continually to do. And so I just feel like the ball is we're juggling and instead of actually dribbling and setting up plays. You know, I think about with a lot of these movements that happen, who have we raised or who have they raised as far as to the term of the older generation dropping the ball. I think there's a generation and a half who just kind of float the wave because now that, you know, John Lewis has passed and Auntie Maxine is, you know, at some point she's going to be out the door. Who have we raised up to take their practice? Who have we rallied behind, supported, or place to understand the ropes for the baton to be handed? Into sports now, but you know, who's desired to take those spots? Everybody wants to avoid politics. Everybody wants to avoid all these key things that's going to move us forward.
Good deal. And there's a lot of layers in what you just said. There's a whole lot of layers in what you just said, and we can definitely jump into that thing. But who is next? Who's next?
Those were perfect analogies, by the way. They were like the man.
Spot on.
She watched a lot of sports.
Man, that basketball. I was like, I understand now.
There you go. And so now we got somebody else on here that you can listen to, huh, Ray? See, it's
like 3 of them now.
Hey. Let me go to Willa. Willa, something is on your heart.
Yeah, real quick, Raheem. I was about 30 years ago. I was in a store called 7-Eleven, and they sell these little icy chili things that you could go in there and buy. So when I was in the store, was a young man in there. He had to be about maybe 9, with his friends. They 9, 10, 11. There was 3 of them, and they were in there and they were cussing and swearing and I said, hey, you know how you hey. I don't remember all the things I said, but I was just telling them how he was being disrespectful, cussing around his elders. So as I went out the store, they left first, and I went out the store, this young man waited till I got out the store. And he took that little red cup of that red cup of chili that he had bought and threw it in my face. And I was like, wow.
Wait a minute.
You know, and I think about it then, and I said, you know, that could have been a gun or something like that. But all I did was just correcting him to say, you know, you shouldn't be cursing. And he took it in, I guess, offense, and he threw that red chili. I mean, my sister and them laughed at me and stuff like that. You know, it was funny at the time, but when you think about it nowadays, you know, it could be a gun. It's not funny now.
Yeah.
And they don't say anything. So that's one of the reasons I believe we dropped the gun now, the ball now.
Wow. Rosalind, what's on your heart, sis? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I just been listening. The thing that this is just my opinion. The thing that we have, or the situation we have as a Black community, I'm just gonna say that we don't stick together, and lack of knowledge. I think that's what's going on in our generation. I could say, well, Ray is a little bit younger than I am. I'm 39, but we don't stick together. I mean, I have all type of friends. I have Caucasian friends, I have Asian friends, and I always ask them questions. Like, one of my Caucasian friends, I asked her, you know, if you had a family member, or do you have anybody in your family that you can reach out if you wanted to open up your own salon and you needed some type of financial support? Can you contact somebody in your family that's going to help you? And she said, yes, of course. The same way with the Asian community, they support each other. They don't put their money into irrelevant things. Like, we put our money into, not everybody, we put our money into relevant things. Jordans, things, concerts, going to see Kevin Gates and different rappers. I mean, it's fine to do that, but you need to get yourself together first before you can appreciate going to stuff and entertain yourself. I don't entertain myself unless I'm rewarded. That's how I am. Unless, like, I just got my bachelor's degree. Stuff like that. I entertain myself after I complete something that I feel like is going to help me succeed in life. But we have, as a community, as Black people, we have to change our mindset. Like, there are so many resources out here that we can get involved in, but we'd rather go to a twerk contest or go down to other places that's irrelevant. And all these free information that is out here, we don't want to sit in and get up on Saturday mornings, because you have people like myself, Mr. Sandra, you, Raheem, and Mr. Leonard, all of y'all on the platform that's putting work into the community. We're using our time to get up and do free things, and our generation don't want to get up out the bed to come out and get this information and apply it and use it to better themselves. They would rather do irrelevant things. So I think it's just more of us. We have to learn how to do things that's going to better our community, better our future, stick together. We have a hard time sticking together, and I haven't understood that yet.
Exactly.
Like, if I have information and I know how to do things, I'm going to share it with my sister. I'm going to share it with my brother so they can apply the knowledge and they can be successful in the future. I don't understand why we cannot do that. Why we can't be like other races? Because they're steadily growing, and we're still stuck. It's like we're stuck. And I don't understand why.
Wow.
And that's the only thing I have to say about that.
Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, I'm about to be 36.
Manual.
And I remember when I was younger, I was mad because I honestly thought the older generation didn't do enough. And then my brain grew because I actually started to research what all's been done and what worked in the past and what didn't, and what can be implemented today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and awareness, working in our communities, because I feel those of us that know better, we can fight every day. We can fight against the people in power and so on every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel we can increase those numbers if we can work with our communities. You know, to help inform, to help teach, to show actual facts and how the bills that are being passed actually affects us.
Mm-hmm.
And get away from this race war and focus on our communities.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people across the board that want the best for everybody. There's always going to be people of every race that's not going to like someone else of a different race. That's something that'll probably never go away. There's always going to be a group in every race that doesn't like another race because of a belief or whatever they decide it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't come together as a whole, we can't expect change.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's too much separation as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
People are wanting to be somebody else. You got white folks that want to be like black folks. You got black folks wanting to be like white folks. You got Chinese wanting to be whoever, and so on and so on. It's, why not be who you are and be a human being?
Mm-hmm.
You're a human being before you are anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You bleed red just like every other human being that's on this chat, on the radio, that's listening all around the world. Now, unless you can show me a human being that bleeds blue or purple or whatever other color, I'm still waiting for that day. But as far as right now, we all bleed red.
Yeah, exactly.
History is history. Every single race has dealt with some kind of genocide or something of that nature. You've got the Romans that came in and killed a whole bunch of Europeans and forced them to follow a particular belief, otherwise they'd just get killed. You've got and then all of a sudden they're like, that's a good idea, let's come over here. And then they wanted to start enslaving the people from Africa that led up to where we are today. And the people that were already here before the Europeans showed up, they've either accidentally, quotation marks, or not, killed off hundreds of thousands of them. And then you have the World War, that, Nazis versus the Jews, and all of the prison camps. And I made a comment the other day about the law that was passed for the lynching. Why is it only up to 30 years, even if it causes death? That makes no sense to my brain. That is one of the most hateful things you can do. And you're telling me that there should be a fine or up to 30 years? Come on.
Exactly. Okay.
That's stupid.
Badger, we gotta keep it moving. Hello? Say it again. Oh, okay. I thought I heard somebody say something. Let me go to Leonard. What's on your heart, brother? Leonard?
Yeah, like I say, I'm just listening. People making very valid points. However, there needs to be some marching orders. I mean, it's amazing to me. I'm just really not comfortable in the tennis match. I mean, there's obviously I'm not even confined by the whole issue of race. Let's see about decent people doing decent things and see how great it happens. But you're ignoring the fact that almost 50% of Americans don't even feel the way you feel. Almost 50%. So where y'all come up with a lot of these generalizations, it's almost strange to me. 50% of people just voted against half of the great things you all talked about. So what it makes you think you can sit on your behind and do nothing? This thing is almost deadlocked in some issues. And when we're sitting here talking about like some overwhelming amount of goodwill is going to come over the hearts of people, how can you be a good person if you're not supporting that side? How can you convince me that you care about anybody if you do nothing? So I think that once we get out of this general, I'm not a person fighting to govern people's personal lives. The only reason me and you, some of you, have anything in common on this radio show right now is that we're believers, most of us. But I guarantee you, you wouldn't want to hang out with me all day. Not, you know, it's people think that this color of skin overwhelms every other issue. And that's where you're failing. The Vietnamese don't do well because they all the same color. Other quote races that you all misquote, they're not doing great because of the color of their skin. It's because they just simply agreed to do things one way, a certain way. They have a direction. This is what we're trying to accomplish, so this is what we're going to do. That's it. It has nothing to do with the color of their skin. But you want to make it that, and it's not that.
That's good. That's good. Let's go to Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis? Everybody mute your line. I got some background noise coming from somebody's line. Everybody mute your line until I come to you. Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, I think along with this conversation, it's about personal responsibility too, right? I think oftentimes Leonard has a very valid point, because when you look at numbers, when you look at out of 14 million African-American people, 1 million having an issue, an issue with race, an issue with police, an issue with poverty, you know what I mean? Or even out of 14 million, 3 million. You know what I'm saying? That still changes things. But at the end of the day, I think it still ultimately breaks down to personal responsibility. And if it just so happens that the numbers mean that a lot of Black people got the tendency to say forget it and not do the right thing with their dominion in this world, then it's going to make it look to people like Black people is doing a lot. So, but at the end of the day, it's still personal responsibility. And, I'm just one of the kids, what I'm saying, from the hood, that's assuming personal responsibility and say, hey, am I 45? Getting ready to be 45 next week. It wasn't because of the white man. And yeah, a lot of different strange things did happen to me in the hands of Black people. But my choices and decisions that I've made daily is what absolutely has me where I am today. So you can't blame anything. Not slavery, not cops, not the drug world, not being, the sex world. You can't blame that. You have to look at the personal action of who you are, regardless of color or race. And if those actions leave you in a bad place, you can't blame it on anything. And I think that's sometimes what we do.
Yeah.
We always want to blame an outside force. I don't recall Hitler blaming the outside force. That was all him. And he got what he had coming to him. And so as, a whole bunch of other individuals, no matter how high they may have made it, it was still the personal choices and decisions. It took for people to get where they are. We like to blame it on privilege. Oh, you're privileged because you're white. Well, maybe it's privilege because they did the work. Because they don't steal. Or the individual now, it's not about white, because we know people do stuff. And I'm saying, if the individual succeeded, regardless of color, maybe it's because they're not a liar, they're not a cheater, they're not a thief. They try to get up and do things the right way. They try to get educated. They try to follow the formula. And I think that's what we need to understand, be the destruction of the devils.
Exactly.
Sometimes the things of this world, you can go through a lot. Harriet Tubman had to go through some rough circumstances, but her choices and decisions is what ultimately led an entire community to what we call freedom, with help of other people who were non-Black.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, once we eliminate the outside forces and be honest about the decisions that we go through, whether you're raped, beaten, molested, taught to sell drugs, taught to throw a drink in somebody's face at the age of 9, a 9-year-old knows the right or wrong thing not to do. And we have to be control of our choices and decisions and stop trying to use any other obstacle as an excuse.
Absolutely. I got to play my I got to play my clip now. We just to catch everybody up to speed, just in case you did not know, we have it on May the 29th this month, Sunday, May the 29th, we're having the Redeemed Awards. That's an award show, whereas we're actually highlighting great people that's done great things in and around the community. We're actually going to take an opportunity and celebrate them. We're going to celebrate them. There's going to be entertainment there. It's going to be it's an award show. All the bells and whistles of an award show. So if you are available and in and around the Atlanta or the Georgia area, make sure you make your way out here. I'm gonna play the clip right now. Take a look at this, and then we're gonna go back and continue the broadcast. Here we are. There we are. And there are early bird tickets available. You might want to go out and get the early bird tickets. They are naturally they cost a little less than a regular admission. Doors open at 5:00. Event itself starts at 6. And one of the people that's going to get an award is our very own Lady Cassandra Green. Cassandra, you there?
Yes, I am.
I call her Lady Cassandra Green is a recipient of the 2022 Redeemed. She has been redeemed. Redeemed Awards. Speech. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to say something, Cassandra?
No, I'm. Thank you so much. I'm honored because I feel like I never do enough, and I just want to continue to do the work that I've been chosen to do. And like I said, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something.
Absolutely.
And you need to find what your something is and do it.
Absolutely. Kay, what's on your heart, sis? Kay, looking for that mute button.
Hey.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just gonna tell y'all today we having a prayer at 12:00. We have so much violence going on in Kansas City. So we're going to one of our known places, the plaza, and we're having prayer at 12:00 nationwide. The mayor, I guess they asked other cities to do the same thing. I'm not sure. So that's where we'll be. And then May the 14th, we're doing a Precious Doe birthday party, and that's the little girl that got cut up and all kind of stuff back. He's 30 years old, May the 14th, and we're doing a Precious Doe memorial thing for her, and we're recognizing all of our babies that's been murdered over the years.
Absolutely.
So definitely stepping up and doing positive things in the community, regardless to dropping a ball or anything.
Absolutely. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis? Goddess is looking for her mute button.
Hey, I'm here. There's a lot of things that we just need to continue on with working together as a community. And Leonard, I would like to hang out with you because we got the same ideas. Just to let you know, some people do like to hang out. But I just think our children or our youth, those that are waking up, the Nipsey Hussle guys were born here, that most of their fathers. We have a slew of parents where they're not two-parent households, where they don't have fathers in there, and they're not the same as when we had. We grew up in the Kumbaya moment. Well, they're not the same. And they just need to learn how to redirect that anger and that violence a different way. And I think that our generation, and once they learn what they've been through, they'll understand and learn some history, learn some things about who they are. I think a lot of change, and it's up to us to go in there and start teaching them, because our youth ain't no joke.
Yeah,
you ain't ready to come up in here and do the kumbaya with them, and then turn around and do such and such. They're gonna react. That's one thing I like. They're a little bit different. Because sometimes you got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. And prayer works, but prayer without action is dead.
Yeah.
So some things you got to get out here and you got to do and make a change. And voting is the key.
Absolutely.
So that's why I stand there on a lot of things.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me see.
Sir, let me give one more chance to get out. I'll sit back and listen again. I've been kind of peaceful and.
Man, we love you.
But,
We love you. We love you being here, brother. And look here, we're here every day, Monday through Friday. Now, you make sure you make your way back and hang out with us.
I am, and I'm gonna participate in that awards event. I didn't know really about, Anyway, I just know. But what I'm hearing is, I heard that the most positive things, the most negative things, right? The most negative things I hear is individuality and ignorance of yourself, right? It's self-love and loving yourself, who you are and what you do. When we said Black Power, we said, Black is beautiful and Black love, right? We were serious about it. This thing now is just an anthem of some kind of rap lyric, you know what I mean? That goes bizarre. But there's no such thing as individualism. Even if you think that you're an individual, you fit in a pattern or a category of a group of people, right? And if you don't think you're Black, or your issues don't have anything to do with your Blackness or who you are, visually perceived, then you're mistaken. Everything that you're able to do now was because of people that went before you in suffering sacrifice.
Yeah.
I had one time, I was very successful on trucking companies. I ran a self-help group for just mixed different races and people. I've organized with Puerto Ricans. I've organized with the Vietnamese when they came to America. I've seen the Chinese, and their story from their perspective is a whole lot different than the way we see them. That's because we only see a group of people that we see, But reality is that they have internal problems that's greater than ours.
Yeah.
But when something happens to one, or like what happened to Atlanta about these people being killed, and how they happen to be Vietnamese or Koreans or whatever, the whole community comes out. When they were Asian hate, the whole Asian community, irregardless of their differences and their language differences, because some Asians speak Spanish and blah, 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 they came out. They came out in support of every Asian being harmed, right? When our people get harmed, we got to go through this thing, oh, we're all together, we're all Americans, and we this and we that, and we're not being harmed. No, we don't have any love, we don't have a love and concern for each other like everybody else has. That's a difference. I would say there's some of us that do, but we don't have the love. Do you think that the police would come beat on Black people's head like they do? If the hundreds of people die in the community every day, and one police officer would kill one Black person, if we stopped that 100 dying a day in our own community, do you think one police would have the audacity to come in your community and beat somebody in the head, or even out in the middle of the Midwest, would they touch one Black person? No, they wouldn't. And that's true. Just the same as that their people with the same crime, the same atrocity get treated a lot better than some guy high on crack that don't pick the pocket. They will kill him. They will kill him if he try to resist. And a man that killed 6 people, they will take him to Burger King.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So all I'm saying is that we first understand that the economy is real. Our leaders have been talking about this for hundreds of years. You can name them. Do you want me to go through a litany of people, of Black people, for the last 100 years have been talking about the economy and that exists in the legal system? That's not new. That's hundreds of years old. So what I'm trying to say to us now is, let's not forget that we're not individuals by any shot. We are a collective of people that ignoring our collectivity. We are a nation within a nation that's ignoring our nationhood status.
Wow.
Look at the definition of nation. Look at the definition of ethnocracy. That's a new word now. Ethnic democracy. That's what in European countries you live in an ethnic democracy.
Mm-hmm.
The Europeans have never been a forward-thinking people for the grace of the collective. They're a small collective for themselves. The American cares not less about anybody than the imperialism of America. And so throughout other European countries, you want to look at history, look at the history of the Europeans that came to America and what the death destruction they caused. Look in your lifetime or my lifetime, how many millions of people were killed and devastated and communities torn apart with some type of European rhetoric or some type of religiosity rhetoric that was untrue. Look in the last 10 years, the last 20 years, how many people we've seen killed that we ignore. How, you know, they talking about the people killed in Ukraine. How many people were killed in Iraq, in Iran, in Afghanistan? I'm not just talking about soldiers, I'm talking about people. It was so horrendous in the second Gulf War in Iraq. The first 2 weeks, they stopped giving the numbers of people that were killed in Iraq. And I stand by that. We don't even have an idea. And then the war, and then people are still dying today because of that event. And we mentioned about that leader at the time that was installed by the CIA years and years ago, giving weapons of mass destruction, how we knew we had it, to kill the Iraqis, the Iranians, right? And then we turn around and kill him, and then we act like we didn't know that they were going to be killing each other because of the separation of their different religious culture. We don't act stupid. We don't play, oh, we were just helping them. We're trying to build them up. We're trying to do this, you know. And they said, we don't want your help. You know, we don't want you to always be destroyed. We don't want you to build dams that you destroy.
Now, Ibrahim,
you know, but we act like
Ibrahim,
Afghanistan. We act like we don't understand.
Ibrahim,
right?
Ibrahim, you know we got to keep it moving, brother. Like I said, I love your passion, brother, but we got to keep it moving, man. No, don't apologize. I appreciate your participation in what we're doing here. On Friday, what's on your heart? Tucson, coming to you next.
Emotions are a formative opponent.
Make me cry sometimes. A song came to me. Excuse me.
It's a formidable opponent, and it's a very powerful, persuasive tool, and it's been used time and time again, over and over to good, bad, and other. You know, so I just think that it's really, really important as we're navigating these different strategic options, looking for what those marching orders look like, and then actually coming into formation, that we continually check our emotions, keep them in check, put them in right perspective, and continue to have outlets such as this for us to express them and get different perspective. Iron sharpens iron, and sometimes because of emotions, we may have a distorted viewpoint of something that others can help lift it up or clear up. So I think ultimately on my heart today is just, you know, thank you for the show. Everybody make sure that you support programs like these so that we can continue to have an outlet of a voice to share with one another. And let's just keep in mind that emotions are very, very deceptive and very persuasive. And as we look at these different issues that are on the table, that some we've talked about and some that just are out there generally, that needs to be discussed within the community as we're formulating these marching orders. And even with marching orders, guess what? We have to come into formation. You know, we have to get information, and then we have to be able to move as a unit. So I encourage everyone to just be true to who they are. Yes. And do their part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, a lot's coming to mind. And, you know, I love people. I love to see people achieve and get where they need to be and want to be and desire to be in life. But and this might not make no sense to some people, But when are we going to celebrate with the man in the
The
one? You heard what I said? That didn't even make no sense, did it?
No. You know, you broke up a little bit. I missed the last part you said.
When are we going to learn to celebrate with the man, or when are we going to be able to celebrate with the man in the ditch?
Mm.
The unlearned and the ignorant.
Yeah.
The one that just can't get it.
Yeah.
Because if they continue to fail, we all fail.
Yes, sir.
And we don't get it. We celebrate with the rich, and the rich keep getting richer. And we do this cycle, and the poor just, you know, hey, I guess it was pretty smart for Jesus to say, the poor be with us always. You know why? Because of us. We celebrate the value of the alabaster.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't talk much.
That's gonna be my new. I'm gonna put it out there, man. This is gonna be my new T-shirt right here. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says this right here. Your failure is my defeat. Let's win.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's gonna be my new. That's I ain't gonna say them one time because somebody might steal my idea, so I ain't gonna put it out there no more. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra? Wake up and go to sleep. Rosalind, talk to me, sis.
Just real quick, I was just thinking about it's so easy to tell our older people to go and get out and vote, and they have no issue with it. But telling our younger generation, they can care less about it. We have to help them change their mindset and give them some good knowledge of why it's so important to vote. Because now they don't see voting as I guess being successful. I mean, they just see it as a joke or something. But we definitely have to get to our younger generation to get out and vote, because we're going to leave here. All of us on this platform, we're getting older. We're going to leave. We're not going to stay here forever, and they're going to be left here not voting. So we have to get to this younger generation, get to their mindset, and get them in a group and let them know it is so important to vote. But by us just telling them, hey, go down there and vote, they're not going to vote. The only way we're going to get the young generation down there is when we get Nicki Minaj, Yo Gotti, Kevin Gates, and all these big artists to meet them at the polls, and then they're going to come out. But until we get like somebody to have a great influence on them, because right now the rap artists, they have a great influence on our youth. It's sad to say that, but they can get them to the polls. It's hard for us to get them to the polls.
Yeah.
But if you have them, if you say, hey, we got them down at the polls, meet us down there, we're going to vote, they're going to come out. But by us just telling them, hey, meet us at the polls, nobody is going to come. The younger generation, they're not going to come. And that's all I have to say about that. We have to get these youth and change their mindset, stay in the community, let them know it's so important, let them know why they're voting and everything, because if not, we're not going to get anywhere.
Hey, Leonard, let me ask you a question. Is that illegal, man?
What?
To have a concert, have a concert, something like that, and say your vote is your ticket. Once you vote, you get a ticket to the concert. Is that illegal?
Yes.
You're not telling them how to vote.
You can't give someone a reward for voting.
Wow.
But you can definitely have a concert and speak about the importance of voting at your concert.
But they gave out joints for shots.
Exactly.
But see,
you can have a concert before the voting time and promise people a ticket that was registered to vote. Right? You can do it. It's been done. It was done the last major election, big lie, and still being done. You can buy tickets now to support a person to vote. It's just at the time at the voting booth, it's a little bit different. But you still can have rallies and have paid concerts for people that vote.
Wow.
You know, it's just how you exchange it and when you exchange it. It's done every day. You know, look, follow Trump and his constituents, right? You know, follow them, and you see that
exactly.
It's always the way around. You know what I mean?
Because my thing is this right here. It is said that you can't reward a person for voting But if they vote and the person that they vote for wins, that's the greatest reward right there, because you're walking in victory, because your ideals is going to be passed on and you're going to make a difference. So the concert, I understand what y'all saying. The concert is a small reward, but the biggest reward is that you actually get out there and vote and have your people that have the same mindset, idea that you have to move forward is in office.
And you know, I've done voter
I'm
registration
not
at
saying,
nightclubs.
I wasn't saying a concert. I'm saying if you tell a group of young people that they're going to be 3 major artists,
Yeah, I know what you're
at
saying.
the voting poll,
Yeah.
they're going to come out and vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the influence that these rap artists have on our youth these days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
They're going to come out.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but it just sparked that sparked something in me about the concert and saying, your ticket, your vote is your ticket into the concert. That just kind of sparked that into it.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So a
Black
lot of the
Panther Party said if you become a member of the program, the Feed the Children program, the education program, yada yada, you had to register to vote.
Mhm.
Bobby Seale, you can check with him. He's still alive.
Okay.
1964 to to all the programs.
Okay.
All right.
Good deal.
He def- I was
But
gonna
hold
say
on,
he
hold
definitely
on, hold on,
said
hold on, hold
everybody
on.
still stand to
Hold
Kansas
on,
City.
hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Tell them bring
Y'all just stepped.
tickets
Y'all
where
just.
they voted
Can you hear
and
me?
get them in the
Y'all just stepped all over
free.
Badger. Hold on for a second. Y'all just stepped all over Badger. Badger, go ahead, brother.
see, I'm too nice. I don't interrupt people,
Go ahead, Badger.
or try not to.
And Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of the younger people that are like just now turning 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them do say, "What's the point of voting?" And I'd ask them, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, with Trump getting elected, popular vote was for a different president. The Electoral College is how Trump got in there. So to them, why vote if the Electoral College can override us?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they supposed to be voting for the most popular vote?" And then people have looked it up. It's happened more than once.
That's
The
not true.
Electoral College, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So could it be all lies and conspiracy about the Electoral College voting for people that the American people didn't want there? Absolutely. Could it be truth? Absolutely. So a lot of, well, like here in Texas, right? There are a lot of people that are starting to leave Texas because they've been fighting for 7 to 10 years, and I mean a massive amount of people trying to elect the right officials and all kinds of things like that to update their medical system, update and get better women rights in Texas and things like that. And this is 7-10 years of fighting nonstop, watching the politicians ignore everyone's request.
Mm-hmm.
Constant hearings, people constantly advocating, constantly being up there in that office. So it's really hard for a lot of people to get into this voting stuff anymore, because here's this politician saying that they're going to fight for women's rights and all this other stuff. And based on their past, they show that they represent it. But they get in that office and they'll be one of the first ones that sign against it.
Wow.
So what do you expect these younger people to do when they're seeing this all over the place?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Man, we only got 4 minutes before we only got 4 minutes before we get out here.
That's a very important thing that he said, and he's an intelligent man. And there's 2 things that's changed the voting, and people don't pay attention to it. And that is they keep drawing these lines. They put power in charge drawing these lines. Democrats don't want to do it, but they do, right? The second thing is, if you understand what that means about the vote, you don't vote directly for a president in federal elections. You don't vote for him. The state votes for him. It's between the state's voting right to make a selection. Now, the Electoral College people are chosen by the different parties and the votes that they get along these lines, right? So if you want to change something, you can either run around with the game or you can create your own. You can start your own caucus. You see what I'm saying? Your own party. And then you will control a certain amount of the Electoral College. Who votes necessarily the popular line, but also they have to reflect the mind of the people they came from. So a lot of people in the Electoral College were Republicans and were Trumpites or Trump Republicans or didn't know that. But anyway, so that's why that these things are drawn. We have these contentions. And George Washington
The president of the first president of the United States started that. And the first founders of the United States started that electoral college because they thought the common man was intelligent enough to vote on their own. So it's the state that votes for the president through this electoral college. And you can create your own electoral college members by being a part of the process. That's why I say vote is the last thing an intelligent person does when he's aware of who he's voting for, the issues that they're voting for, and what is important to them. Regardless of anybody else in America, if you have a black issue, then your issue should be centered around your people. You cannot put that all with the other people, maybe all the people of color, because there's two different camps in this country right now. The larger camp being the European mentality, you know. So you have to recognize these things to be a truism because you can see it right in your face. You can see the outcomes of it, you see the action. But why deny that with some esoteric ideology? You
Absolutely.
know, if you want to change things, you have to pick your group and go with it. I don't care if you want to pick your group and be white or be some kind of mixed group or something that don't exist, whatever, or another culture, do that. But then pick that group and put your heart, whole effort, and your intelligence into seeing something successful. You know, I choose the latter. I choose to be black. I've been black. My mother and father was black. I was born a black man, and I'm gonna die a black man. You know, that I changed my idea thinking or whatever. I'm gonna die a black man. So that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna fight for that cause. The same cause my parents fought. They see that I had a life, that I had a chance to survive, which was minimal at the time. It's minimal now. They fought for that. They fought, and I fought for my children to have education and all the things. There's some things that I had, and I didn't do as good as my parents did, but I did it anyway. But, you know, we all are part of the process. If you have one black child, yes. If you vote for things that's going to uplift people of poverty and more of your people in poverty, then why not vote for the people in poverty? You know, why I'm going to go to listen to some college educated people when I can go in the community and learn truisms and basics myself, but not in the language I might want to hear. And, you know, some, like the other brother said, some verbiage that they don't even relate to. I ain't going to talk down to them because nobody's below me and nobody's up above me worshiping any man. And I'm not denigrating any person. I'm going to listen to them. I listen to poor white people. The poor white people are the same as poor black people. But W. Boyce pointed out in 1905 is they have the currency of whiteness and the black people don't. The same problem, the same poverty. They seem to be doing better in our eyes, but you go into a poor white community, you want a trailer coat home, and the meth addicts and stuff around the country, boom. You think that you're having problems in the city, like one lady pointed out. I took a bunch of brothers down to Camilla, Georgia, so a black elected mayor, 80% black people elected a black mayor. They wouldn't give the keys to his office. They wouldn't even bury black people in the cemetery in their city. And me and a couple of guys went down there, and we stood up for them. We spoke for them, and they got that mayor got in office. You know what? And the mayor was so scared of us, and the church was so scared of us, they wanted to turn their back on us, right? The people stood up for us. They did. The people in the community, you know, they stood up for us. They were glad to see somebody cared about them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like in every community in Black America, right? Every community where there's battles taking place at, we want to sit down and talk, bring the politicians, have a big to-do, but they want you to come out there and at least recognize. And I do. I got people still on my Facebook page that I went out there when their children was killed in the street, assassinated by their own brothers and sisters of black people out there. They appreciate I came out.
Yeah.
Because I was a Black Panther. I came out there. I was original Black, not the new Black Panther, but original Black Panther. I came out there, showed my concern, and tried to get the community to work against it. And I found out information the police still couldn't get. Yeah. You know what I mean? And,
exactly.
But that's because, and I don't take sides who did the killing, who got shot and killed. I understand both of these people in the same position. You know, I just want to make sure that they are understood, take care of people, will point to them and look out for them and not denigrate them and talk down on them. How dare them.
Exactly.
You know, that we want to talk about rap scene, we forget about working. We want to talk about getting some kind of education that's designed to make us workers, you know, and servants, and not education that will make us engineers. You know,
Brother Ibrahim,
be construction.
Brother.
What up?
Brother, now you know we get it. Now you know we end at 10 o'clock. Now it's gonna be 11:30, and we still gonna be listening. You got so much knowledge. But look here, we got to get out of here, brother.
He needs like 3 hours on the show at some point just to talk.
You got so many powerful people climbing in. Some of them have that selfish thing, but it's so many powerful people that want to change. And the change is getting out to do. You cannot wait for come by our unity. If you get out there and start doing something right, the police gonna beat you down. The power to be gonna kill you, but the people and the power gonna build you up. The people see you doing something, they gonna unite with you. If they don't unite with you, forget them.
Exactly.
They ain't about
Exactly.
me. They about me. They ain't about that.
Now, brother
But
Ibrahim, brother Ibrahim, we gotta go, sir. Brother Ibrahim, we got.
You're so man. I'm disruptive.
No. I
Thank you for
love
what you're doing.
I love what you bring what you bring to the conversation. Now, I definitely want you to come back, man, as many and as often as you can. We're here Monday through Friday, so you're more than welcome to come every day if you want to. But right now, brother Ibrahim, we gotta go, sir. We got we got to go now. Hey, Toya with a T, are you there? Toya with a T. Toya may have stepped away for a second. Now let me see. Cassandra, you might know it. Cassandra, what's going on at 3:00 today?
I'm going to be sleeping, trying to catch up. Oh, you mean on the show? If you missed this show and would love to see it in its entirety, come back at 3 p.m. Oh shoot, say it, Reem. I'm under the influence of medicine, so
DKM Media Group and Associates. DKM Media
and Associates.
Yes. .com.
Yeah, DKM Media Group and Associates.com at 3 p.m. and you can hear the show in its entirety.
Absolutely. You did good. You did good. Now, I got to see Willow. I got to say that.
I'm ready.
You ready, Willow? Let's go, Willow. Let's go.
I am so ready. Let's go, Raheem. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you this morning. Father, we thank you for bringing us together this morning. Father, thank you for each and every last one opinion this morning. Father, we know that you are the truth and the only truth. You are the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father unless he comes through you. Father, we thank you for that, Lord. Thank you for your word. You sent your word to heal us. You sent your word to direct us. You sent your word to guide us. Father, we love you and honor you this morning. Touch each and every last one that's on this radio station. Keep Raheem safe in his family. Father, in the name of Jesus, we're asking these things in your son Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Amen. Friday, it seems like you got something on your heart. Sis, what's on your heart?
I'm just happy to be here. I'm excited for all the upcoming events. I have one of my own on the 14th. It's completely virtual. It's on my page. It's on Eventbrite. It's on Facebook event. So, I also hope that all the other events, the memorial event in Kansas City and your event coming up on the 29th, you said?
Yes.
Does well. Everybody, it's plenty of great things to be a part of. So, I'm just advocating. That's the only thing, just advocating for everybody to support one another. And it was a good talk today. It's good to see everybody.
Hey, good to have you back. Definitely good to have you back. And I want you to, I know you know a lot of people that's in the Atlanta area. I'm gonna share my link with you. I want you to send it to them and have them come out and support them.
Absolutely.
And as well. So definitely do that for me if you don't mind doing so. But right now, anybody have anything before we get out of here? Anybody have anything they want to say before we end? Good deal. Everybody's in a good place. Good deal. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is 10:07. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day, and please, please, please be blessed.